everybody. It is the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, and the Phillies are coming off 4 straight wins as they beat up on the lousy Washington Nationals last night. All they needed was 3 runs in the first inning. Schwarber gave them the bomb, and the Phillies coasted. But, oh my God, what happened last night? What? 4 innings? 4 innings of relief by the bottom of the Phillies bullpen. Ruiz, inning and a third. Banksy, 1 2/3. Hernandez with a clean inning. And the Phillies win last night. How about that? 3 in the first and sayonara. All right, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about where the Phillies are right now and what your feelings are about the Phillies, because I think there is not a lot of confidence right now in the Phillies. I was playing golf with some guys last night. Threesome. And me. Every guy in a threesome says to me, "They're not going to make the playoffs, right?" I go, they're 1 game back in the playoffs right now. Well, I just don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Well, this team's out west. They're really good. Can the Phillies make the playoffs? I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. And they're obsessed with making the playoffs right now. It's possible they don't make the playoffs. It is also possible that they right this ship, that they get some relief help, that the general manager makes some kind of a trade, that they're all right and they get in the wild card. And maybe they can still win the division. I mean, who knows? Billy Colarulo is with us. Ray Dunn is with us. Bill, your feelings about the Phillies last night. I can't get overly excited. I hate watching a bad baseball team. I can't do it. And I was forced with my eyeballs like Malcolm McDowell at Clockwork Orange with the toothpicks having to watch the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, good morning, man. Good morning, Ray. The Nationals stink. We know that. But look, at least the Phillies are taking care of business against a bad baseball team. But it's interesting. You said your 3 buddies you're golfing with are saying they're not going to make the playoffs.
They're not going to make playoffs. They didn't even know they thought they were so far out of it. I go, they're only back of 1 team, really.
It's funny because the vibe is it's been a very frustrating start to the season, but they are 17-13. They have won 4 straight. The issue, though, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday, it's not the record. It's looking at what the glaring issues are on this baseball team and wondering if they're going to be able to fix them. And the biggest glaring issue was the bullpen. But like you said, last night, 4 scoreless innings from guys like Ruiz and Hernandez and Tanner Banks. And I saw an interesting stat this morning that made me feel a little bit better. Apparently, last year's team had an ERA through April from their bullpen of 5.32. This year, as bad as it's been, it's 5.03. And that bullpen last year went from 5.32 ERA down to 2.20 in the month of May. Now, I'm not expecting that much of an improvement, but maybe we do need to be a little bit patient. Maybe we do have to look at the Jordan Romanos of the world and say, you know what, his last outing, he looked pretty good. His velocity's getting up. You know, maybe we do need to look at these bats and line up and say, hey, weather's getting warmer, as Topper likes to tell us. They're better when it's warm, and now Schwarber's starting to heat up a little bit. He hit that home run last night with 1 damn arm, Mike. So maybe we do need to be a little bit patient. I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to the fans.
So are you patient?
I'm trying to be. It's hard.
Are you feeling patience?
No, I'm not.
You just got done telling me how great the bullpen was last night.
Yes.
Are you serious with that?
No. I'm not. Like as I said, I'm trying to be positive.
You gave me Ruiz, Banks, and Hernandez. Like that's going to set up the rest of the year?
No. Well, one of those guys probably, I mean, Banks will be here, but I'm thinking Hernandez is probably gone once they bring Suarez back to the active roster. Don't you think? Hernandez may be the guy that's, or do you keep Hernandez?
Who knows? He's a relief pitcher. You need relief pitchers.
And he throws some heat.
You're going to cut down 1 more relief pitcher?
You have to. When Ranger Suarez gets elevated, you're going to have to drop somebody from the pen. You're not going to drop Walker.
Well, who's it going to be? You have to drop somebody. It doesn't mean anything. Who's it going to be?
That's what I'm saying.
Who in the rotation is going to go to the bullpen?
Probably Walker. Or they go to a 6-man rotation.
You just said it can't be Walker.
No, I'm saying that they're not going to release Walker. They got to make room for Suarez.
Let's go into this 6-man rotation a little bit here because you just brought it up. Do you actually think that could work?
Over the life of a 162-game season, no. But for the short term, potentially. Potentially it could work. I know Wheeler hates it. We've talked about this. He likes being his normal rest and all that.
And so does Nola, and so does every starting pitcher that ever took a ball.
But all right, let's play it out, though.
Mm-hmm.
Are you moving Taijuan Walker to the pen? Because that's the only solution then if you're activating
Suarez.
Suarez.
You're going to have to do.
All right, so then if you do that, who loses their job in the pen?
Do I care?
Probably not. They've been weak.
What is this? Is this an actual talking point here? Who's going to lose their job in the pen?
Well, they got to figure it out.
Ruiz or Hernandez? You think I'm going to lose sleep over that?
It'll probably be Hernandez. But here's why I think it could work. This is why I think the six-man rotation could work for a short period of time. What was the issue last season headed into the postseason? Ranger Suarez hit a wall. So maybe it actually would be a benefit to him to be in the starting rotation but not be a five-man rotation. Give him a little extra rest. You're not going to overwork Sanchez. You're not going to overwork Suarez. Now, Wheeler and Nola, I don't worry about those guys, but maybe this is a way to keep all these guys fresh. And let's talk about Jesus Luzardo. As great as he's been, he is coming off an injury last year. So maybe this is a way to preserve your starting pitching to keep them fresh. I'm not saying do it the whole season because, look, we also got to not worry, but look forward to Andrew Painter coming up soon. He may be here in July. So I don't know what you do with the six-man rotation. I know you're against it. Ray was starting to tell us off air he's against it. Right? You don't agree with it either.
Ray's not as much against it as I am. Right, Ray?
Yeah, the one thing that I would give credit to the six-man rotation is that Luzardo throughout his career has not put together the workload that would tell you that he's done this consistently in terms of high innings. Ranger Suarez, we saw a year ago just how he fell off in the second half of the season. If you could manage their workloads better to keep those two guys humming by the end of the season, I would like it. The problem is I think you tax your bullpen too much with the six-man rotation because you're limited in the number of pitchers you can carry.
Yeah, because you're going to have to get rid of one of the bullpen guys.
I hate it.
Yeah, I can tell.
Hate it.
Now, listen, Rob Thompson was asked about this.
Yeah.
Before, not last night, the other night.
Yeah.
And he said that's a possibility.
Listen.
So he's considering.
Listen, Rob. Call your freaking general manager and say, I ain't doing a six-man rotation. Go out and do your job and get me a reliable right-handed bullpen guy. That's what I'm saying to him.
All right, but then let me ask you this. Let's play this through. Would you trade Ranger Suarez if it meant...
Yes.
You're not even let me finish the sentence.
Yes. I know where you're going with it. Yes, I would.
Outfield bullpen.
Yes.
So would I. And I think that may be where we're headed, but... You need to get Ranger back into the starting rotation, I think, to show teams that he is, in fact, healthy and that he can be a dominant pitcher, and then you're going to get more.
Yeah. All right. Listen, Kincade took a shot at me today. Kincade took a shot at me on his morning show.
It wasn't that bad. I heard it.
Yeah, he took a shot about the fictional conversation that we had yesterday about would you trade Maxey and Paul George and a number one pick to the Milwaukee Bucks for Giannis and somebody else that would make up the salary cap. Now, I would say a resounding yes. It doesn't matter if they're not going to do it or it doesn't make any sense because of logistics or whatever. It's a conversation. I want to know if people would actually do a trade like that to bring Giannis here knowing you're going to lose Maxey and a number one pick. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, John's...
And I want to know it in the chat, and I want to know it on the text board.
Yeah, John's thing was you can't trade two max players for one. That was his thing. But your point is, if it was possible,
if it was possible,
would you do it?
In other words, do you think that much of Maxey that you would say, no, I'm not going to trade him? Because one of the guys that I played golf with said, I'd never do that. I wouldn't trade Maxey. Maxey's a star in this league. I go, yeah? You got Giannis out of the Kupo on your team? You want Giannis? You want Maxey instead of Giannis? Okay. All right.
Look, I tried to be a little positive about the Phillies. Let me try to do a positive thing about Maxey for a second. Are we unfairly, and I'm not saying I believe this, but are we unfairly judging Maxey based off of the disastrous season we just saw? Because you go back to 2 years ago, people were saying, you could build around Tyrese, you could build around him.
But then flaws came up in this game when he had to carry the load. A 6'2 guard in the NBA cannot carry the load. Can't. He can't be your star player. It's simple. The game has evolved to the point where a 6'2 guard, unless he's Iverson, and there are no more Iversons coming up the road, can carry a frickin' team in this day and age in the NBA.
And I agree with you. I'm just wondering if the disastrous season we saw, is it possible that Maxey can get even better over the next couple of seasons?
Good player. Can he get better to be a star, to carry a team?
Yeah, I don't see it either. I don't see him carrying it.
Then why do you ask the question?
Just hypothetical.
It's a hypothetical? I better get Cade's going to rip you tomorrow now for a hypothetical. 610-632-0975. I have some news on the other side of the break that's not going to make anybody happy, not the least of which is me! The Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Connor Thomas.
It's crazy. Mike Missanelli said, a solemn note here. Yesterday I was all jacked up. Why was I jacked up, Bill? Why was I making an exuberant, emotional announcement as we were doing General Knowledge Wednesday? I was pronouncing the death of our old phone system and welcoming today our new phone system. Bill, you were skeptical. I had been told from a major source that our new system would be up and running for today. But alas, there have been more technical difficulties that have been encountered, and it will not be activated today. And you were right, and I lost money to you. Congratulations.
It's going to be okay, Mike. Everything's going to be all right.
I look like an idiot.
You look like an idiot for a lot of other things. More than this.
No. I was out of my mind promoting this new system that was going to start today. And people go, I'm getting that already.
What'd I tell you yesterday? Under promise, over deliver. The new phone system will be here. It'll be here soon. That's all.
When somebody says to me the new phone system is going to be up by today, how am I supposed to react? With skepticism or with optimism?
Optimism. But you are not the eternal optimist. You are usually a pessimist, aren't you?
I know. That's why I look like a fool today. Because I got fooled into being the eternal optimist. And so the bottom line here is we still have phones. We still have probably the same problems with people trying to call in because it appears to me that only one call at a time can get through when we were supposed to not be that way. So you can still attempt to call in the show if you got something to say. And you can still hit us up on the text board, which is unfettered by technical difficulties.
Our text board's on fire every day.
610-632-0975. Just as a test pattern, try us out today. See if you get more than one call can get through at a time. That's all I ask. Make an attempt. And if you can't get through, tell us that you can't get through on the chat. You can email us. You can text us. You can tweet us.
Speaking of the chat, yesterday was so enjoyable to just be engaged with our conversation. I may be turning the YouTube chat over to Ray Dunn. Ray Dunn declared that the chat was his yesterday, and we may be passing the torch. I'll be checking in with the YouTube chat, but I think Ray now is going to be the guy who monitors it. And if anything worthy comes of the chat, Ray will be the guy you go to.
Ray, you got another heap on your shoulders there? You got enough shoulders for that?
It really just sounds like Bill's saying he's better than the chat.
No, I would never say that.
Kind of what it sounds like
I
to
would
me.
never say that. They're my peeps, man.
Sounds like you're turning your back on them.
Love my YouTube chat. It's just that my undiagnosed ADD makes it very difficult for me to try to pay attention to the chat and all the nonsense that Mike spews. So I got to be able to be locked in to what he's saying so that I can combat the ridiculousness.
I'm going to let you stand on that island, man. You go ahead. Resident 1, Colorado Island.
I'm trying the battle.
So, yesterday, the Phillies win.
The fighting fails, baby. 17-13 now. Trying to be positive here.
So you had the Phillies last night. You had the NBA highlights where the Lakers, the Lakers were eliminated after they make the trade. And the whole media world goes, oh, look at the Lakers. They got Luka now. I'll pick it up as a surprise NBA championship team. And you know who's sitting there with egg on their face today? Rob Pelinka, Luka, LeBron, and especially the head coach, Mr. Haircut, J.J. Redick. How you feeling now, J.J.? He walked out of the press conference yesterday. Can't take the heat, J.J., you punk.
As much as I'm enjoying watching
the old man in the 4 is going to be his new podcast, 4 losses.
Now, as much as I enjoyed that, the one thing that I'm not getting behind right now is this movement on social media now saying Nico was right. I still think it was a disaster that they traded Luka.
How's that a disaster? Right now, as you stand, how is it a disaster? What are the Lakers right now?
It's not necessarily what the Lakers are. I'm still looking at what Dallas is.
What is Dallas?
Without Luka.
Did Dallas play hard coming down the stretch?
Of course they did.
Did they look okay with Anthony Davis?
But I don't think that Nico gets absolved just because the
Really?
Lakers
Did
didn't
you
win.
see the way Luka tried to defend in that game last night? Did you see that nonsense with that out of shape non-defender that he is?
That's what he was last year,
you're
too.
making baskets all day long. Well, when push comes to shove, he can't close out anybody. He gets beat off the dribble. He doesn't help defend. That's why Dallas got rid of him.
Yeah, but he was that same player when he dragged him to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, he was.
He was the same guy.
He was. And then they said, we can't win the big prize with this guy because when push comes to shove, he can't stop anybody, nor does he want to stop anybody, nor does he want to lose weight, nor does he want to stop drinking freaking beer.
Okay. All valid points. But all they got was AD. Like, that's the thing, is if you wanted to move on
They
from
got
Luka.
a viable big man who can still play. We'll see how they look next year, Billy. 610-632-0975. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies win comfortably. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. The Phillies won their fourth game in a row, and if you're looking for a comfortable one, this was your type of win. Beating the Nationals 7-2 last night, Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, and JT Realmuto all homered as Christopher Sanchez put together 5 solid innings, and the bullpen shut down the Nationals for 4 innings. After the game, Rob Thompson mentioned that reinforcements are on the way in the way of Ranger Suarez getting his first start of the season on Sunday against the Diamondbacks. He also addressed how Christopher Sanchez looked in his start.
Looked a little rusty. It's been a week since he's pitched. Command was off a little bit, but the stuff was really good. The changeup looked normal. The slider looked normal. Fastball velocity was good. Yes, I'm pleased.
Phillies look for the sweep today with Taijuan Walker on the mound against Brad Lord for the Nationals at 6:45. In the NBA playoffs last night, the Lakers were eliminated by the Timberwolves following a 103-96 loss. LeBron James after the game says he's unsure of his future, and the Rockets forced the Game 6, knocking off the Warriors 131-116 last night. This update's also brought to you by True Green. Summer's better with True Green. Get a lawn you'll love for less than you think. Don't wait. Sign up at truegreen.com and get 75% off your first treatment. Restrictions apply. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for Truist Championship coverage at 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And it's the Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. We're talking some Phillies, but also a little later, I would like to engage Flyer fans in a discussion, Bill. This is right up your alley regarding the new coach. And I'm doing this just for a reason, because I want to feel out Flyer fans. I just want to feel them out. I don't even have an opinion on this.
You do have an opinion on it,
I
but go
have
ahead.
an opinion, but I just want to feel out Flyer fans about the new coach. It's a bigger subject.
It is.
Feeling out. It has to do with the whole mindset of being a Flyer and all that stuff. So we'll get to that a little later.
I think you have strong opinions, too, from Flyers fans on this.
And that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I want a strong opinion from Flyer fans. We don't often engage Flyer fans. But today I would like to engage Flyer fans because of what's going on behind the scenes and who they may hire as the head coach. All right? So it's 610-632-0975. You want to get in, test the phone system. Like our pal Reggie on the road. Reggie's on the road. He's all over America, and he finds a way to get in here.
Oh, we got Reggie right now?
Reggie on the road is checking in on the telephone, so he's gotten in. If he can get in, anybody can get in. Reggie, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Mike. How you doing? How's Ray?
Everybody's good. Where are you right now?
What's up, Bill? I'm alongside Salt Lake City, Utah right now.
Look at this.
Oh.
Beautiful country, Salt Lake City. Look at the mountains
Yes,
in the
it is.
background.
With snow on top. Yes,
It's a nice view. Beautiful
Yes.
view.
Yeah. All right. Chatting with TJ, I told him the Phillies, and I'm not going to change that because, but then I want to add one more thing, a request if I can, please.
Sure.
Since I'm traveling so much, can I get Brass Construction Moving as my theme song when I, because who's
Brass
the other guy?
Construction Moving is the
Moving.
walk-up song that he would like, Ray.
You see what you
There
did?
you go.
Now, you gave Greg a walk-up song, and now
Yeah.
all the callers want one.
Well,
but I think
yeah.
Reggie deserves one.
You
Yeah,
know,
but not all.
the infrequent callers that we've had all deserve walk-up songs.
Yes. Yeah. Brass Construction Moving.
Because it's been a loyal fan base that has continued to call here.
Yes.
All right,
yes.
buddy. You got
So
it.
the Phils.
Uh-huh.
All right, the Phils. First game of the season was 19 strikeouts out of 27 outs. I wish we'd had more contact outs. That would have been better, but,
I get it. They strike out a lot. Listen, I can't overanalyze the Phillies when they play a weak ass team like the Washington
Right. Right.
whatever their name is, the Nationals. I just can't. I mean, I look at that team and I go, oh my God, this poor kid Dylan Cruz. They keep sending him out every game, and he keeps striking out and striking out and striking out. He's not ready for big league competition. And I'm watching the kid. I'm going, the poor kid.
Yeah.
He was drafted number 1 or whatever he was drafted, or number 2, and he's just struggling so much in the big leagues.
Mike, here's another thing. You and I are October born. That's our connection as well.
I'm November born, bro. November.
All right. You're a Scorpio, though.
I am a Scorpio.
Yes, okay.
That's no good for a lot of
October 23rd to
people.
November 21st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what Reggie, listen, you're a mensch for continuing to call with all our problems. I laud you, my friend.
So when will the new phone system? Because I was hoping to be.
I can't even comment on it anymore because I don't want to look like an idiot.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
when it's up and I show up and I see a screen and it's up, that's when it's going to be ready.
Okay. All right.
All right, Reg.
Well, you,
got it, buddy.
you, Ray, and Bill have another good day.
Oh, thank you, pal. I appreciate it. Scorpio gets a really jaundiced eye look when you tell people you're Scorpio. You know why?
Why is that?
Because it's a really well. First of all, they're known for their intense, passionate, and often secretive nature. They are fiercely loyal, determined, and possess a magnetic personality.
Wow. Are they describing you, Mike?
They are brave and courageous. They're not afraid to face challenges and stand up for what they believe in. Yeah, they're intuitive and perceptive. Scorpios have a natural ability to read people and situations. Secretive and mysterious, Scorpios can be private and keep their true feelings hidden. They're magnetic and captivating. Scorpios have a strong, alluring presence that draws people in, and they're honest and direct. Scorpios are known for their bluntness and straightforwardness. Now, you want to hear the bad things?
Sure.
This is why people, they cross their eyes a little bit when I tell them Scorpio. They're possessive and jealous. They're stubborn and resentful. They're aggressive and controlling. They're emotional and intense with mood swings and emotional outbursts. And they are ruthless in their pursuit of goals. Now, go ahead. Go ahead, knock yourself out, Bill. Go ahead, knock yourself out.
Ray, does that sound like Mike?
On top of that, I'm an Italian Sicilian.
Oh, my God.
That's a bad mix, Bill. You would hate to be me.
Well, mine's pretty accurate. I'm a Gemini. Ray, what are you, Taurus? Mm-hmm. I don't know
what's the Gemini? I don't know. What's the Gemini do? It's the twins?
It's the twins. Like
You
have
got dual personality?
dual personalities.
You do. You have a dual personality.
Which I think, I think is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I could,
Personality?
I could turn it on and off, especially
personality. He's got one personality that's like present, and the other personality is in his chat board.
Got it. I was looking for the first personality.
That's the duo. The duality of him.
The way I look at it is I could be very serious, and then at the same time I could be kind of a jokester as well. That's me, more so.
A jokester, really?
Let me see. I mean, I like it. Gemini.
Ray,
can be oblivious to things right in front of his face.
Is that not on there, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was told that Taurus was a red flag back. My high school girlfriend told me that.
You're the bull? Ray is the bull.
Yeah, stubborn. The bad things.
Are you stubborn, Ray?
Stubborn, possessive, uncompromising. The three bad things that are listed for me.
Really?
Reliable, patient, practical, devoted, responsible, and stable.
How about that?
The other things.
You're stable. You're responsible. I'll give you that.
I try my best.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. I feel like people only tell you about your horoscope sign if it's a bad thing. I don't think anyone's ever like, oh, yeah, I really like your sign. I feel like I've only ever heard it weaponized against me.
Here's what I get. More than 50% of the time. What's your sign? When were you born? November. Oh, you're a Scorpio. Oh. That's what I get. That's what I get all the time.
See, the Gemini is spot on. I'm reading what they say about me, dude. Look at this. Geminis thrive on communication. Their personality, they're known for their wit, charm, curiosity, and ability to connect with others. Geminis excel in careers that involve communication, writing, journalism, and consulting. They make great friends due to their social nature.
You're like that, but let me challenge one word. Wit?
Very witty.
Have you
wit or without is what I thought they meant.
Yeah, wit or without is about the extent of it. not
Oh man. Anyway,
let's take a quick break. And on the other side, Flyer fans, I want your ears perked. I want them perked. I really want feedback from you Flyer fans on this particular coaching hire. 610-632-0975 is how you climb in. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. Back after this.
Philadelphia Union Soccer.
Valley, another beautiful day, another beautiful spring day, man. Got my tomatoes in. Put them in. Because the weather going to be nice, usually it's, a couple weeks into May, I took the chance.
How long will they take?
I did a May 1st action. You won't get tomatoes till August.
Oh, they take that long?
Oh, yeah. What do you think? Put them in and you get a tomato next week?
I didn't know it took
They have to grow.
months.
The plant has to get strong and stalk up.
How big you let them get? You go big tomatoes?
The tomato determines when you pick it. It gets ripe.
Now, do you use any sort of like artificial grow to try to get them bigger?
I fertilize. You got to fertilize, as Nick Sirianni says. Like Nick Sirianni of all people.
We all fertilize.
All
Wait, Ray
fertilize.
was slow to the trigger
That's
on
all right.
that.
Ray's monitoring the chat.
He is. See, it's a distraction, isn't it, Ray?
Monitoring the chat. I'm pulling 17 different songs for the regular callers to make sure we're ready to
There
go
you go.
now.
See, Ray's doing it all.
Chat's coming after
Ray's
me
the
hard.
yeoman. The chat's coming after you. Oh, see, you're still looking at
I
it.
went in during the break and I saw a bunch of Benedict Arnold tweets towards
Benedict
me.
Colarulo.
Yeah, they're
About
coming.
my
out.
favorite.
Why are
That
you?
I'm a traitor because I said I was going to give up the chat and give it to Ray.
They're your people.
Yeah,
Yesterday, I found out yesterday when I was monitoring the chat board how many pro-Bill and anti-Mikes there are out there.
Yeah, so now Ray's going to win him over and I'll be the one that's ridiculed.
And now that's going to be anti-Rays.
But hold on, before you go to the Flyers stuff, Reggie, who called us earlier, was talking about how much the Phillies strike out, right?
Yeah.
And I know when we watch these games, it does feel like they strike out a lot. If you had to guess right now, where do you think they rank in Major League Baseball in terms of strikeouts?
Middle of the pack.
They have the 22nd most strikeouts.
Okay, so that means they're not striking out a lot.
They're not, but it does feel that way. I agree with Reggie. It does feel that way, but they're not.
Any swing of miss takes you back in time.
It does.
Yeah, it's like, they strike out again. But really, they have not done that as much.
No, and the crazy thing is they're top 10 in batting average. They're top 5 in on-base percentage. See, the issue that I think isn't necessarily the striking out or any of that. It's the fact that their slug is still middle of the pack. They're 17th in slug. You expect this team to slug like they did last night. Would they have 3 home runs yesterday?
Yeah.
But that's why maybe we are overreacting, Mike. I don't know. I'm trying to talk to myself. Maybe we are overreacting.
Are we overreacting to the Phillies versus the Mets? Or are we overreacting to the playoff situation?
I
Are we overreacting that they're going to not win the division? Because I don't think they will.
Yeah, I think, I don't think we are overreacting. I'm just asking myself that question because they have a decent record.
Well, let's cut to the chase. Are they better than the Padres?
Right now? No.
Okay. Are they better than the Diamondbacks?
I think when it all's said and done, they'll be better than the
You
Diamondbacks.
think so? Really?
I think that they will.
Are they better than the Giants? Giants hit.
The Giants do hit, man. I just think they have better starting pitching than the Giants. But is that going to be able to carry them? You would hope in a 7. See, I guess it depends on what we're talking about. Over the life of a 162-game season, in a 5-game series or 7-game series, like what would I feel like the Phillies are going to have?
When you look at the completeness of a team, you can look at the completeness of a team on paper. You can look at how they're playing right now. You can look at their staff. Like the Giants can't have a bad pitching staff if the record is what it is.
No, they don't have a bad pitching staff. I would still put the Phillies above. The teams that I would put above the Phils right now in the National League would still be the Dodgers. It would be the Mets, as much as I hate to admit it. I'm putting the Mets above them right now.
Cubs?
And I was going to say the Cubs, but you just saw the Phillies take 2 of 3 in Chicago.
Yeah.
So it's close with the Chicago Cubs, but they have a good team. I mean, what they were doing before that series, their offense was unbelievable. But I still think the Phillies are better than the Giants and the Diamondbacks. But I do like the Padres.
Okay. Well, coming up is the Diamondbacks. You got the Diamondbacks coming up, so we shall see. All right, so some Flyer news, first of all. Old-time defenseman Ed Van Imp, who was, I believe, with the team at their inception. I remember being a kid, and when did the Flyers come into existence? 67?
Correct.
Yeah. So I was captivated by this new sport in town, how fast it was and the whole bit. And it really wasn't fast back then. But it looked like 100 miles an hour when you're looking at a game all night. Ed Van Imp was your typical classic plotting, stay-at-home defenseman who would take the body and use his stick to get into you.
Listen to you with the hockey.
Oh yeah, I have Ed Van Imp. It was.
Right, you hearing this
he
guy?
He was a classic guy, and here's Ed Van Imp. You can check this on Google, Mr. Google. If I'm correct, Ed Van Imp was notorious for a spear when they played the Russian national team. He speared a guy right in the belly with a stick, the tip of a stick.
I'd have to look it up.
It was one of the episodes that made the Russians go crazy and walk off the ice and the whole bit.
And then they were told if they wanted to get paid, they had to come back.
Correct. Now, it is amazing now, all these years that you follow the Flyers, and we're about to get into a topic. I have never heard more of a fervor than when the Flyers played the Russians in this town. Because you have to think about the Cold War was still going on. And this was good versus evil with the red uniforms and the peculiar crescent and hammer and sickle and all that stuff.
So,
and the CCCP and all those weird letters.
So I was born in '83, so I wasn't alive for this because it was '76, right?
Was that the year?
I think it was seven.
Okay.
I think it was '76.
Okay, all right.
But yet, even 10 years later, like I'm a little kid, my grandparents were still talking about when the Flyers and the Broad Street Bullies beat the Soviet Union. So I can only imagine what it was like when it was happening.
And to boot, I believe that the Flyers were hated, right? But for that series, America got behind the Flyers, even though they hated the Broad Street Bully concept. But they got behind them because they were playing against the evil Soviets.
Yeah, I remember. I thought I remember Ed Snyder saying something to the effect where, like, even the NHL said to them, and the NHL hated the Broad Street Bullies, but they even said to them, like, win this one for us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So Ed Van Imp was in on that. So it's a shame that he passed away. Now, here is the topic I want to talk about. The Flyers coaching search and whether you want an ex-Flyer coming back into this whole thing. Now, let me here's my problem with it. I don't believe it's progression to keep hiring ex-Flyers. I just don't. I don't agree with it. I like Rick Tocchet. I'm fairly friendly with him. I think he might have the same agent as I do, but I wouldn't want him as the coach of the Flyers because I do not want to revisit the chapter of hiring ex-Flyers. I need to get progressive with this franchise. I don't want to go back in time. But here's the problem. Because I believe most people would welcome that. I'm reading this fan, what you're saying about the Flyers in the Inquirer. We asked, who should the Flyers target as their next head coach? Alan H. writes, I'd be over the moon to have Rick Tocchet be the new Flyers head coach. He was my favorite as a player. My ex-wife and I named our dog Tocchet. He's a proven NHL coach, and I hope he's interested in the Flyers job. Now, I got to ask you a question. As much as we like Tocchet, we like him as a player, we like his style, he resonates with the Philadelphia sports audience because of who he is and the toughness and this and that, right? Is he a successful, proven NHL coach?
I think he's only been to the postseason, twice, I think? Yeah, I think he had Arizona overperform. He had a really good season 2 years ago with the Vancouver Canucks. But he's won Stanley Cups, but those were his assistant coaches with Pittsburgh. So to answer your question, probably not. I mean, he's not a guy you would look at and say he's been to the top of the mountain as a head coach, and he's had a lot of success as a head coach. Now, this may surprise you. I like Rick Tocchet as well, and I wouldn't be furious if they hired him, but there are better options available. Like, I would think if they hired Rick Tocchet, that would be them settling a little bit in light of some of the other candidates that are available. So I'm agreeing with you. I don't think that they should hire Rick Tocchet based off of who else they could potentially get.
Well, forget about that. I'm asking you a simple question. The Flyer mindset of having to go and progress beyond bringing in ex-Flyers all the time. How do you feel about that?
I don't look at Rick Tocchet, though, as just being an ex-Flyer.
Oh, stop it.
He's been to other
stop it.
places.
He's got a brand as a flyer, and you
does.
know it. You do this all the time.
Well, here's what I'm saying.
You always that it comes out of your skin.
If they
This
hire
flyer
Rick
thing
Tocchet,
comes out of your skin.
If they hired him, it's not going to be just because he was a former Flyer. It's going to be because he's been around the NHL.
Oh,
He's
my
coached
God.
with many organizations.
You've got to be kidding me. 610-632-0975. You don't even believe what you're saying. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies win comfortably. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies won their fourth game in a row, beating the Nationals 7-2 last night. Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, and JT Realmuto all homered as Christopher Sanchez put together 5 solid innings, and the bullpen shut down the Nationals for 4 innings. After the game, Rob Thompson mentioned that reinforcements are on the way in the way of Ranger Suarez, who will start on Sunday, make his first start of the season against the Diamondbacks. He also addressed how Christopher Sanchez looked in his start.
Looked a little rusty. It's been a week since he's pitched. Command was off a little bit, but the stuff was really good. The changeup looked normal. The slider looked normal. Fastball velocity was good. Yes, I'm pleased.
Phillies looking for the sweep today with Taijuan Walker on the mound against the Nationals' Brad Lord. In the NBA playoffs last night, the Lakers were eliminated by the Timberwolves following a 103-96 loss. LeBron James, after the game, said he's unsure of his NBA future. The Rockets also forced a Game 6 last night, knocking off the Warriors 131-116. This update is brought to you by Dairy Queen. Get big summer flavor in every bite with the new DQ Summer Blizzard Treat Menu featuring new mixing bowl mashups, s'mores, and more. Available now. DQ, happy taste good at participating locations. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for truest championship coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
a little later, we're going to have a story about Delco.
Oh, no.
I can't get around it. I'm an advocate of some things that you do in life that you should be jailed for. And we're going to talk about something later that happened in Delco.
Oh, man.
And the reason why I brought this up is because we have a caller on the line, my buddy FedEx Ed from Delco, who wants to talk about the Flyers. FedEx Ed, where you been, my friend?
What do you mean?
What's
How you
going on,
doing?
buddy? How you doing?
Good, like you missed. Yeah, it must be slow news day. I mean, slow sports day. You're talking about the Flyers.
Oh, no. This is very important that they get a coach on board so they can take the next step in their chapter of raising their level of play.
Yeah. Not this guy though.
So wait,
I agree with
you
you.
don't want Tocchet.
No, I agree with you, man. You can't go back in time. I thought that's why they brought Jonesy in and
Isn't that going back in time
and
too?
his partners.
Isn't that going back in time when you bring in Keith Jones and Danny
They were
Briere?
they were supposed to change the culture.
Uh-huh.
And
How's it working out?
yeah, I mean, I don't know his record or anything, Tocchet, because he's out west. I don't really.
Yeah, I got it right in front of me.
follow
I'll
Vancouver.
give it to you in a second.
But
All right,
I heard Bill say there's some other options.
Yeah, Bill, let him know the other options. You can go college coach. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, there's a couple of college coaches that
Western
they're
Michigan
looking
guy
at.
that won the
Correct. That
championship.
Pat Ferschweiler. Apparently, it was reported that they did interview him. He just won the national championship with Western Michigan. The other guy would be that David Carl from the University of Denver. That I don't know if he's interested in leaving there, but he's grown a program really quickly. But if you want a professional coach that's proven as a Stanley Cup winner, I'm thinking Sullivan, who just got fired by the Pittsburgh Penguins. So any three of those guys, I think I would like better than Rick Tocchet.
So you agree with Mikey Miss?
I agree with Mikey Miss to a point. I don't think that they would bring in Tocchet just because he was a former Flyer. I don't think it's fair to say that he's just a former Flyer. He has been around the NHL, Mike.
Come on, Bill. Come on, stop it. I just
Well, they
read
just bring back
you what the guy said. I'd love to have Tocchet because he was my favorite Flyer. Come on,
that's
Bill.
one guy.
No, but that's the prevailing sentiment. And that's what I'm trying to get to. FedEx Ed, don't you sense that the prevailing sentiment among Flyer fans is, Tocchet was one of my favorite players. Let's have him as coach?
Yeah, I do. Now, I go back as far as you, Mike. I remember Ed Van Hap and everything. I
could give you a little Mikey Miss. They could give you maybe that whole first team. Thanks for the call, Ed. We appreciate it. They had the French Connection line. You know what the French Connection line is? That is, Mikey Miss doesn't know hockey. The French Connection line for the Flyers. You know who it was?
Who was it?
It was Angers Lacroix, Jean-Guy Gendron, and Simon Nollet. They all went out as a line. The French line. Boom.
Wasn't there the LBC line, too?
Well, that's the Clark Barber. What is it? Who is the other guy? Clark Barber
Leach.
and Leach. Oh, yeah. Reggie Leach was one of my
Now,
favorites.
this is all before my time.
One of my favorite guys, Reggie Leach. He had the big slap shot.
See, you grew up with that line. I grew up with the Legion of Doom. You remember the Legion of Doom.
I remember Legion of Doom.
Lindros, LeClaire, and Renberg.
That was my favorite era.
Oh,
Lindros was my
incredible.
favorite player of all time. But see, don't label a non-hockey thing on me. all
No,
right?
you are a hockey
Because
guy. But you've turned.
The first captain of the Flyers, I can tell you who it was. Lou Angotti.
Look at
So
you.
how you go? Go Gots to you.
And Gotti to you, too.
That's right.
So what happened, Mike?
I got tired of it. I got tired of the nonsense with the allowing the fighting and the mucking and grinding. And I'm watching a Flyer team that the whole league grew past them in mindset.
I forgot you're anti-fight. I
It's
forgot about
stupid. It's ridiculous. It cheapens the sport. So you're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic, WPN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. All right. I still want to get some fly. Ray, are people sounding off on the text board or on the chat about this flyer thing?
We got on the text board Jim from Satterton saying, Mike, I'm with you not bringing back an old flyer to be the coach. I am 58 years old. I was in second grade when they last won the cup. Why are we revisiting the old regime again? Makes no sense to me.
Because he has a flyer brand. And this owner made it a point that if you're a flyer for life. And that meant no innovation ever. It meant never stepping outside the box. And the one time they did it, they brought in Russ Farwell as the general manager, and Bobby Clark, freaked out, and they had to bring Bobby Clark back. And that was the end of that. When Jay Snyder, actually, I'll give Jay Snyder some credit. He actually tried to change the mindset of the old flyer thing. And he got smacked down and demoted and dispatched to Siberia, or wherever the hell they sent him.
Different ownership now. Different leadership with Briere and Jones. I don't think it's fair to paint that brush on this new regime. Everything has been different. And it's the same thing where I've said Danny Briere deserves opportunity before we start criticizing the job he's done. He did not do the mess that Chuck Fletcher and Ron Hextall did.
If they bring back Rick Tocchet as a coach, what would you be saying?
What would I be saying?
Yeah.
Well, I think there's better options out there.
What would you be saying if they brought Rick Tocchet back? What would be the reason why they brought him back?
I don't think they'd bring him back because he's the former Flyer. I'm serious.
Right. Does he have a straight... Is his nose growing? Am I working with Pinocchio today?
Hold on. Listen, you're describing this guy as a former Flyer, Rick Tocchet. You look at his coaching stops.
You've got to be kidding me.
Not only wasn't he assistant, just look at where he was the head coach.
He's got
the
a
Lightning,
Flyer
the Coyotes,
brand
the
to
Canucks.
Him. He's got a Flyer brand. I'll always be a Flyer brand because he started here.
I don't want him. Now, what are you going to do if they hire Ian LePerrier?
Oh, that would be even worse.
LePerrier.
That would be even worse.
He would be another Flyers
Lappy
guy.
as the coach? Oh, Lappy. Lappy.
Remember when Lappy took the slap shot off the face in the playoffs back then? That was wild, dude.
Oh, you love that kind of stuff. Lappy, look how
he's
tough
tough,
he is.
man.
He's tough. He took a puck in the face.
Hockey players are tough, man. What they deal with. They are very tough athletes. Now, I'm telling you, I think where I would go, and I know this didn't work out the last time. They went with Dave Haxtell. You and I were talking about that off air a little bit, and that didn't work out going to the college ranks. Mm-hmm. But if they could get a guy like Ferschweiler or David Carl from college to come in here when you have a young group of players, I think that would make a lot of sense.
Let's go back to the text board. Right, what do you got?
All right, we're going to have a crossover from the chat board and the text board because it's JJ from the YouTube chat.
Okay.
Please, no former Flyers for any coaching positions that are available. I don't want a new coach coming in that's already being comfortable with the surroundings of the fan base. It's a new era of hockey. We don't need any old players or fan favorites weighing down our franchise again. Bring in Mike Sullivan, a proven winner, and start this new era.
All right.
JJ's my buddy from the club.
Let me just give you Rick Tocchet's record. This is just objective numbers. Tampa Bay, 1933 and 14. Tampa Bay, 34-36 and 12. Arizona, 29-41, 12. Arizona, 39-35, 8. Arizona, 33-29, 8. Arizona, 24-26, 6. Vancouver, 20-12 and 4. I guess he got hired late. And then he had a big year with the Canucks, 50-23 and 9.
Then the step back year this past.
And then 38-30.
But here's the thing, and I know JJ says Sullivan, and at first blush, I wanted Sullivan as well. My only concern with Sullivan, even though he's a proven winner in this league, you just fired John Tortorella. There are a lot of similarities between Sullivan and Tortorella. They coached together for years. They're extremely good friends. They do have similar styles. If you moved on from Tortorella, are we bringing in just another version of John Tortorella if we bring in Mike Sullivan?
The only thing I want, please can you give it to me, is don't bring back an ex-Flyer because he has a familiarity wearing a Flyer sweater.
They don't always do that. Well, first of all, John Kincade weighed in, talked about how they brought in Mike Keenan. That was different back in the day. But even go back to Peter Laviolette. He wasn't an old Flyer guy. Let's play with some jam in here. Come on. I loved
Go to the
Laviolette,
phones.
man. You take the gum out of his mouth before you start yelling.
Yeah, let's go to the phones. Aaron in West Conshohocken joining in. What's up, Aaron?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. First-time caller.
Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it.
Just wanted, personally, I really don't care if it's a fly or not. I had a question. What do you guys think about Keith Jones and Briere? I mean, they're former Flyers. Should they get out of there?
Mike would say yes, I'm sure.
Mike would not have hired Keith Jones or Danny Briere, okay? Mike would have gone into a completely different direction. Well, what have they done so far?
They've done a great job.
They have?
Well,
great job.
They've done a great job?
I'm not saying that they've – I'm not saying that they have. But, based on your, what you said.
Yeah, okay, they're already in place, bro. I can't do anything about it. They're already in place. I'm talking about the next coach. I'm not talking about firing anybody. I'm talking about. I'm not. You can't get them out of there. They're not. They haven't done anything to get out of there yet. I'm talking about their hire right now.
They're going to be out of there.
I got you, but not right now. I'm talking about the hiring of the next coach.
All right. Well, let's say they tank this year. Okay. Let's say they completely tank. Are you gonna have the same mindset towards GM and director of hockey?
Me? I would.
Coach?
I would. Yeah. Would the new owner?
Okay.
No. The new. Listen. You know me. I give it to you straight. What do you think? I'm going to hide from that? I'm not impressed with what they've done so far. So if they tank again next year, what do you think I'm going to say?
I don't think anybody is. But what I'm asking you is is no Flyers blanket statement through upper management.
I don't know what.
That's what I'm asking.
I don't know what the owner is thinking at this point. I have no idea what the owner's thinking. It's a new owner. I assume they're going to give those guys years. This was a fancy hire. Oh, this was the new direction. Modern Flyers who knew what the hell the score was. That was the idea behind hiring Jones and Briere.
Will you at least give me that it's too soon to judge the Jones and Briere era?
I didn't say
they just got hired.
Did you hear me judge them?
Literally, it was 2 years ago, almost to the day.
I said they haven't done a spectacular job so far, but I'm not judging them that they're going to be fired. I'm talking about one thing. Don't hire an ex-Flyer as coach. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
We want to hear from you. So text us.
Fortunate enough to play the beautiful Philadelphia Cricket Club course, Wissahickon course, the site of the Truist Championships next week. We'll be broadcasting there on a Thursday.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome, I think.
And they are setting up this, oh my God, the construction that's going on right now on the course.
I can only
the
imagine.
towers being built, the grandstands being built. It was interfering with my game, frankly.
Oh, is that what it was?
I needed quiet, and I couldn't get it.
Outside of that, you probably would have.
No, so
been a scratch
I'm on the
golfer,
18. We're on 18 finally. It's a little bit of darkness is setting in. I've got a 55-foot snake putt from right to left in front of the veranda, in front of people having dinner. It's a sellout crowd. It's packed house of people having dinner. I stand over the putt. Was I jelly-legged? No. I stand over the putt with confidence. I stroke the putt, and it's tracking, Bill. It's tracking. It's going from right to left, and it finds the cup, Bill.
Wow!
Standing ovation from the dinner patrons. Standing ovation.
A long putt for a double bogey.
They got
a double bogey putt right there.
5, Bill. 5. Stood up, and clapped for me. I doffed my cap.
Wait, all seriousness, did they clap?
They stood up and gave me a standing ovation.
Yeah, right.
I swear to God, their dinner patio overlooks the 18th green. So they're watching me line up the putt, the whole bit. Boom, it's tracking. They stood up and roared.
That's excellent. Do we know who's participating yet? I know we know that Rory's in it.
JT, Rory, Colin Morikawa, they're in.
It's going to be a great lineup there.
It is going to be. So we'll be there Thursday broadcast.
We'll be there for the first day, Thursday.
Yeah. Now, by the way, do we have any provisions to park when we get there Thursday?
My understanding is we have to park where the media park and then take a 6-mile shuttle bus to the Philly Cricket Club.
Whoa, hey,
so I don't know what time we got to get down there.
Where is the shuttle bus from?
Well, I asked Eric Simon yesterday, who's putting this all together, like, what time do we need to get there? Like, how long of a process is this? Like, if we got to get on the air at 10, what time do we got to get to the parking area to take the 6-mile shuttle? And Ray, you're coming too, right? All three of us are going to be
there.
All right, hold on.
Are you on the mic with us then on Thursday? Are we going to have 3 mics?
If not, I'm going to have a heck of a Thursday.
Yeah, if not, you're just walking around. What are you doing down there?
Interviewing people on the course. You'd be the man on the street again.
Oh, you know what? He could be
man on the course.
No, we could hear this from Ray.
Yeah. Here we are at the 18th.
Yeah, here we are on the 16th fairway. It's a very tough lie.
Yeah. Oh, Ray, we'd love to do that. let's do that, Ray.
That'd be great.
Let's do that. Ray Bialonis.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So listen, I'm figuring like my golf course is right down the street. What are the chances that somebody from my golf course can shuttle me?
That's not a bad idea. Maybe we should all park at White Marsh. Maybe a better idea.
You're not allowed.
Better idea.
What?
Wednesday night, Mike Missanelli show sleepover at Mike's house, the 3 of us, and then we all wake up together and go to park at White Marsh in one car. That could be fun. Nice team bonding event, Ray. What do you think?
I do have plans.
Ray's welcome. You're not.
My plans are that.
Doesn't matter. I got the kids.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Mad Alf is on the line checking in. Now, we're getting some calls in today. Maybe the temporary system is relenting. Greg in Bethlehem. What's happening, Greggy? Here we go with the walk-up song. Hold on a second. Walk-up song. We got it? Wait a second. We got to get... There we go.
I go to the bar.
Go to the bar.
In my coat, I call a bartender. Look, man.
Look, man. Down here.
Down there. So what you want?
What you want?
One bourbon.
Yeah, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Man Elf himself from Bethlehem. The great Greg. Hello, Greg. Thanks for indulging us.
Hey, you gotta love George.
Say, look, man.
I always enjoyed
Look
that
out here. Yeah, it wasn't that funny. It wasn't that funny.
Hey, well,
All right, go ahead.
I was impressed last night. It just reminded me. I don't know if I can remember another batter that had such a seemingly slow swing, or not slow, but it it just didn't seem like there's a lot of exertion when Schwarber hits these bombs. It's all in the wrist. And the other night he had a one-handed home run.
Yeah.
I don't remember anybody that had a swing like that.
Well, there have been guys that had. He's got great bat speed from where he generates it from. It's pretty amazing how loose he holds it and how he can generate bat speed.
Yeah.
You're right. It's through his hands, through his wrists, through his forearms. He's got great hands getting through the ball. It's really tough to do that. But he does it, and that's how he gets his power. He's just a slugger, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's with that bat speed like that, it gives them extra time to react.
Yeah, I mean, you don't hit the ball at 108 miles an hour with that great bat speed. It's phenomenal.
No.
Chase Utley had that kind of bat speed too.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Not a home run hitter, but he would hit line drives all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All right, so these 2 wins over the Nationals, and that's 4 in a row now. You feeling a little better about your squad?
Well, I'm not feeling any worse. I think they're, in my estimation, treading water, and hopefully, they're going to be getting into the boat soon and cruising. But right now, you got to take what you can get, and I thought the improbable win the other night was like highs and lows in back-to-back innings, or even in the same inning. It's been a while since I've seen such an exciting end.
Yeah, I feel you. All right, Greg, nice talking to you. Appreciate the call. I'm looking at the lineup last night. Boy, Bryson Stott raising that average. He had 297 now, Bill, with a couple knocks again last night. Real Muto had 2 knocks. And your boy, Johan Rojas, with 2 more hits. He's hitting 304, Bill.
You ready to declare him as a major leaguer or what?
No.
Well, you did mention Stott. I'm not there either. But with Bryson Stott, as the leadoff hitter this season, he's hitting 311 with a 368 OBP. I would just keep him there.
And you had Kepi Kep with a home run last night, huh?
Kepler. That ball got out of there in a hurry.
253 he's hitting.
But again, with Stott and Kepler, they don't trust them against lefties yet.
Bryce Harper, 234, though. That average has to come up. On-base percentage, 370. He's slugging 423. Got to come up. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies win comfortably. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies won their 4th game in a row, beating the Nationals 7-2 last night. Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, and JT Realmuto all homered as Christopher Sanchez put together 5 solid innings, and the bullpen shut down the Nationals for 4 innings. After the game, Rob Thompson mentioned that reinforcements are on the way in the way of Ranger Suarez, who will make his first start of the season on Sunday. He also addressed how Christopher Sanchez looked in his start.
Looked a little rusty. It's been a week since he's pitched. Command was off a little bit, but the stuff was really good. The changeup looked normal. The slider looked normal. Fastball velocity was good. Yes, I'm pleased.
Phillies look for the sweep today with Taijuan Walker on the mound against Brad Lord for the Nationals. In the NBA playoffs last night, the Lakers were eliminated by the Timberwolves following a 103-96 loss. LeBron James, after the game, said he's unsure of his NBA future. Also last night in the NBA, the Rockets forced the Game 6 by knocking off the Warriors 131-116. This update is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Get a wireless plan that saves you money and an extra trip. Switch to Straight Talk at your local Walmart while you shop for those little oranges the kids love. It's real unlimited data with real convenience. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for truest championship coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
In Pittsburgh last night, onto the field from like 21 feet high.
Scary.
See that?
Yeah, scary.
How does that happen? Is that a drinking thing? What is that?
I think that is what I heard, that he may have been intoxicated. Ray, did you see anything? Did they confirm that?
I didn't see that confirmed anywhere. I saw that as like the floating story on the internet right now.
Yeah. I mean, it was scary. I think he's still in critical condition, right? I don't know if they've released an update on it.
There's some things I don't get, man. What's he, friend dared him? Or like, what? How could that happen?
I don't know.
It sounded from what, again, the floating story on the internet was that he was drunk, tried to thrust himself up from his seat and kind of pushed off, and that was what ended up happening.
Yeah, 21 feet. Is that what you said? 21 feet. And I think it looked like he landed like on his head, too, didn't it? It was just really scary.
The only person who could do that is Omar from The Wire. When he jumped out of the sixth story balcony.
Hold on, what?
Do you remember? When they had him cornered. He jumped out of the balcony, broken leg. He fixed his own leg. You remember that
Omar
scene?
does that. You're right.
Yeah, Omar.
Yeah. He does
when
do
they had
that.
him cornered.
Wait, didn't oh no, Weebay got shot. That's why he was limping around. He didn't jump.
Yeah. Remember it was Marlowe goes, man, looking up, looking down, looking up. That's some Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah, Marlowe.
That was classic. All right, let's get into the Eagles a little bit here. There are two things I want to talk about when it comes to the Eagles right now. One is the NFL draft grades. Now, listen, for the last week or so, we've been drunk with how good the draft is and how much of a genius that Howie Roseman is. And yet, story in The Athletic today grades the draft. The Eagles do no better than a C in their grade.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
I did. And Ray sent us that article, and they don't really give you their reasoning why they put the Eagles with a C
because
grade.
It didn't move them.
And
Austin Mock. This is Austin Mock.
Yeah. What Ray was saying is they don't value, if they're declaring that Jahad Campbell is in fact an off-ball linebacker, that they're not valuing that position high enough to give them a higher grade. Now, what else it could be, and this is a different article, but I was looking at CBS Sports. They looked at the most questionable pick of each team. And for the Eagles, the most questionable pick was Andrew Makuba, the safety out of Texas, in the second round, because a lot of people did have him lower.
Short arms, small body.
He's not a big guy. He has a lot of missed tackles. Like, according to, what was the website, True Media, he missed 15% of his tackles, which is very, very high. But there were some experts, not our Andrew DeCecco. Our Andrew DeCecco loves Makuba, but a lot of other draft experts had him where you could have maybe got him in the third round. You didn't have to take him in the second.
Let me give you the A grades here, Bill. The Browns, A+. 2 quarterbacks they grabbed.
They did get 2 quarterbacks.
The Giants, Ray, Joe Shane, A+, Bill. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I look at Joe Shane. I'm not sure that Jackson Dart is the answer for them at quarterback, but what they had to do, and I didn't love that they took Dart over Shador, but what they had to do, Joe Shane, they were effective in doing it. Like, you had to take Abdul Carter. You had to. He may be the best player in the draft, second to Travis Hunter. And then you needed to get a quarterback, so they traded back in to get him. I could see why you would give Shane a good grade.
The Titans, A. The Panthers, A. The Falcons, A. Normally the 3 teams that stunk.
What'd they give the Jags for trading up to get Travis
Hunter? The Jaguars are way down on the list, the Jags. They are F.
Did they?
F for the Jaguars.
See,
meanwhile, the only A grade left, Falcons A, Packers A-, Buccaneers A-, Bill.
I'm surprised they gave the Jags an F, considering that you love that they moved up to get Travis Hunter. I thought they gave up too much.
No, I didn't at all. The Carolina Panthers, who went with Tedero McMillan as their first pick, how did they get such an A? Nick Scourton from Texas A&M, Princely Umanamillion, and Trevor Etienne. How's that an A draft?
the grades on the draft, though, it really is. Come on, like we've done this before. I know that we have fun with it, and like as soon as the draft's over, you grade it. You have no idea until we see what these guys pan out to be over the next 2-3 seasons, and sometimes longer.
Yeah, you know who got a loser grade? The Detroit Lions. But the mastery of that head coach will turn a bad draft into a good football team.
What's worse, my hatred for Dan Campbell or your hatred for Rojas and Weston Wilson?
I don't hate Weston Wilson and Rojas. I put them in the bag, and the bag is 4A.
Let me ask you a question about Johan.
Yep.
Because I know you don't view him as a Major League Baseball player.
He's a 4A backup outfielder at best.
How much longer, and I'm not predicting that it will happen, but how much longer would he have to keep doing what he's doing at the plate for you to say, I was wrong?
All season. All season. If this guy hits 280 and plays great defense, I'm in.
Does it need to be 280?
And if he plays the majority of the innings, like not as a part-time player, but the majority of the innings, a full-time starter, and he hits 280, well, then he's learned to hit up here.
It has to be 280.
But he ain't doing that. All right? You're going to see this average plummet soon.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think that it's going to turn out to be that this is the answer in center field. But you need them to hit 280. Like, what if he's a 265 hitter, on base percentage, 350?
That's like the borderline, 265 for me. That's a borderline.
Maybe, I say 350,
that wouldn't
over
convince
300.
me. If he's 280, that convinces me. 265, I'd be okay. That's not bad.
Now let's. There's a lot.
The reason why I say that, Bill, is because the guy's got speed. He can have infield hits. He can bunt for hits. He can use the whole field for hits. Like guys like that should hit 280. Not a guy who holds the bat at the end of the barrel with a long bat and a heavy bat, and he's swinging for power. I just don't understand it.
Now I know it's a long time until the trade deadline, but in lists of priorities right now, we have a 30-game sample size. Would you list center field, left field, or the bullpen as the major priority you would want to see Dombrowski fix? Like, could you live with Rojas if they fixed the bullpen and then maybe got a better right-handed bat in left? Would you live with Rojas?
No.
You hate him, dude. I'm telling you. You hate him.
No, I don't hate him.
As Ray calls him, Michael Johan.
I think he's...
He's wearing number 23, man.
He's a 4A player, and you don't win with 4A players as everyday starters. Sorry.
Even though he's your 9-hole hitter.
Yep.
So then where's your... On the list of priorities, is center field up there for you?
I guess you got to get an outfielder at some point, and it's got to be... maybe. See, it's a problem because you do need a left fielder, a right-handed hitter. I don't know. They can't do a lot here. They're really shackled with the center field left field situation. But when we're talking about next year, now I heard Jason Stark on the soundbite that we've been playing, and Jason says that Trey Turner better fix it as a defensive player, or he's going to be a center fielder. And so if you look at next year, since they're committed to Trey Turner for as many years, now next year a transition to center field would not be so alarming. You couldn't do it in the middle of this year, but by next year, if you tell him in the offseason, hey, we're going to make you our starting center fielder, and then you go through an offseason to training for that, and then you go into spring training as a center fielder, then you got something. That would mean your prospect would have to come up. Aiden Miller would have to be your shortstop. Is he a Major League shortstop? I don't know.
Now, looking at Trey Turner's past, he played 45 games in center all the way back in 2016 with the Washington Nationals.
Yeah.
Would you also consider, and I know you're against this, why not flip-flop him and Bryson Stott? Why not make Stott your shortstop? You say he doesn't have a strong enough arm.
I don't believe that Bryson Stott has the range to be a shortstop in this league either.
Because then it also, if maybe Alec Boehm, he's been hitting well, but couldn't you put Aiden Miller at third?
You're not gonna do this in the middle of a year.
No, this would all be next year. Yeah,
so you're just the only thing you're doing is flopping Stott and Turner. That wouldn't work well with Turner. That's a demotion for him. But you can't give a guy like that a demotion. You can give him a new position in center, a new challenge, but you can't demote him for a guy who's playing second base. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Andrew Salciunas.
One other Eagle thing I want to talk about, and it's about the organizations in general. But let's hear what Jason Stark had to say about the Trey Turner situation. He's been very erratic. He's made some really good plays. I don't want to dismiss those. He's made a couple of really good backhanded plays in the hole, which is the toughest play a shortstop can make. But he's been so erratic with charging baseballs, with his throws all over the place. And you can't have that. You got to have stability at that shortstop position defensively. So here's what Jason Stark had to say about it.
I've thought for a long time that focus is Trey Turner's problem. And that shouldn't happen with a player as athletic as he is, who seems to really care about baseball and his team and being a good player as much as he does. I mean, I really admire the fact that every time he has one of those games, he stands there and he answers those questions and he blames himself. He's tough on himself. He's as accountable as you'd want him to be, but he's got to fix this, because if he doesn't, I think he's going to wind up in the outfield.
If he doesn't, he's going to wind up in the outfield. Now, a guy like that, he doesn't have corner arms, so it would only be center field that he could play. He's got speed to play center field.
And you think, though, this is a move that would never happen in season?
No, not in season. Not going to happen in season.
All right, just bear with me for a second. I agree. I don't think they would do it in season. But if they did, you'd be able to then have Sosa every day. You don't see him as an everyday guy. But you would have Sosa every day as your shortstop. You'd have Trey Turner in center field. I don't know. Doesn't it fix a couple of issues, though? I mean, you get a better bat in the outfield.
Makes you worse defensively in two positions. Sosa's not Sosa's not going to be better than Trey Turner as an everyday player. Sosa has his problems too as an everyday player.
You're moving Turner because of how bad he's been defensively.
You're not improving.
So you're not getting worse at short.
No, you're not improving yourself that much at shortstop. It's the same level. You're making yourself worse in center field because he's not going to be a sterling center field right away. And you're making it's even at best at shortstop. Where does Sosa come off as like Ozzie Smith? Like where have you seen this?
You're setting the bar at Ozzie Smith. What I'm saying is, look at what we've seen through 30 games. Have you gotten great defense in center field?
No, but
no. Have you gotten great defense at short? No.
You've gotten better defense at center field, except for an aberration where Rojas muffed 2 balls the other night. But mostly those two guys can run down fly balls, Marsh and Rojas.
I don't think it would be that crazy. Look, if they get close to the deadline and there's nobody available, desperate times call for desperate measures sometimes.
It's a hot take by you, man. It's a hot take. You're going to move. Turn in the middle of the season, you're going to move him to center field.
I didn't say I would do it. I didn't say I would do it. I'm saying that I just look at it. If Turner keeps struggling, and then if Rojas comes back down to earth, you know what's funny is we keep forgetting about Brandon Marsh like he doesn't exist. I guess there's still a reality where he's your center fielder.
There's also a reality where you trade him for a relief pitcher.
Anybody want Marsh right now, though?
Somebody will take Marsh for a relief pitcher. I mean, a potential starter for a relief pitcher, you take him. You have to figure out, that you can straighten him out. Most organizations have a hitting coach that I can straighten him out. They're all I can do wonders with him. They got nothing to lose. They're at rock bottom. Any improvement he makes, the hitting coach gets credit for.
Yeah, I don't think they would do it in season either. I'm just trying to think outside the box because this happened last trade deadline. You and I battled because I wanted a better upgrade in left, and I wanted another starter in the pitching staff. And your response was, "Well, who was available?" You may run into that again. Like we just are acting like this is going to be a foregone conclusion.
They found the guy who was available in Austin Hayes. Who was available. They got him. Didn't work out.
I know. Stunk.
But they also traded away power arms in the bullpen. Now I don't know what Soto's doing. But Sirianni Dominguez is pitching well. So is Hoffman.
I liked Sirianni.
Now, that's 3 guys that you allowed to get out, and Estevez is the other one. I haven't followed what he's doing either. But you're talking about 4 arms.
Yeah, so
4 arms that were power arms, no less.
It's interesting that in a season where we all looked at this as the last chance for this core, that they didn't bring more to that bullpen or didn't bring more to that outfield, knowing that the big core of this team, this was their last swing at. And I'm not sure if we can just rely on the trade deadline because not only Austin Hayes, but Dombrowski hasn't had great deadlines.
No, he hasn't. And let me ask you a question. If you had those 4 bullpen guys, what would your bullpen look like?
It would look a lot better, wouldn't it?
Well, it would look a lot better. It would look a lot more solid, wouldn't it? Now look at the gain you got from it. You got the 2 guys from the Baltimore Orioles who can't get a sniff of the big leagues. You got Hoffman. You just didn't pay him the money. And who am I forgetting? Sir Anthony and Soto went.
Yeah, and then you took a flyer on Romano, hoping that he could get back.
Yeah,
to
so you lost 4 guys that were more reliable than what you have now. Even though we bitched and moaned about Soto, he was still power arm.
And then they decided instead to make the trade to get another starting pitcher, which was a great move. Luzardo looks like an absolute stud, but unless they move Ranger to the pen, it doesn't help you in the pen at all.
Well, they could have done that anyway for Luzardo. You could have had every guy here. You didn't look at the replacements that you got. Not one of them you can use. You lost the guy in free agent. You lost the 2 guys you got from Baltimore for giving them Sir Anthony Dominguez and Soto can't get a sniff. And I'm forgetting one guy.
Estevez?
Estevez.
They just didn't resign.
They didn't resign him. They resigned 2 guys. Didn't get a return for the other 2. Now, that's general manager malpractice. When you think about it.
Yeah, Dombrowski has not necessarily lived up to his resume.
And I had to be reminded of him last night because I was watching Moneyball for the 700th time.
Billy Bean?
Moneyball. Give me Dave Dombrowski on the line. Dave, what do you think of Pena?
Oh, that's right. He does make a trade with him, doesn't he?
Calls Dombrowski.
Doesn't he call Ed Wade, too? Trade some Giambi?
No, Mabry. Yeah, Jeremy Giambi. Give me Jeremy Giambi. Who can you give me? Mabry. Maybe what? No, Mabry. That kid, John Mabry's from Westchester, too. He has a prominent role in Moneyball. He hits a big double in that sequence, in the baseball sequences of Moneyball.
He does, doesn't he?
Big double to right center.
That's Ray's favorite sports movie, right? That's your favorite one, isn't it, Ray?
I would say probably Boardroom, but yeah.
It's on again last night, Ray. I watch it every time. I don't know what it was on. It was some commercial network because I had to put up with the commercials. But it soothes me watching Moneyball.
Pena wasn't bad for them.
Oh, it was a good trade?
I mean, I don't know if I would classify it as good because they ended up releasing him. But for 3 years, he wasn't terrible for that Tigers team.
No, Pena was a decent player.
Yeah, I mean, he ended up being really good with the Rays.
Who'd they get for Pena in that trade? In Moneyball?
Yeah, I got the trade right in front of me here. 3-team trade. Athletics, player to be named later to the Tigers.
Player to be named later? They traded him?
I'm trying to see who went back to the A's.
That had to be somebody decent, right? From Detroit.
Tigers sent cash to the A's.
Cash? That's right. The A's were cash poor.
Right.
Moneyball.
And then, and they wanted to get Pena out of there so they could start Attenberg.
Yeah. But they wound up starting Mabry. I saw Mabry in the baseball sequences was playing first base.
Wait a sec. This goes back to the part of the Moneyball where like they leave out some things here.
Oh yeah.
I did not realize that Ted Lilly was a part of a 3-team deal with Pena, and Lilly goes to Oakland in that.
Ted Lilly?
Yeah, because
Who the
the
hell is
Yankees.
that?
You don't remember the lefty for the Cubs? He ended up pitching. He was with the Cubs while the Phillies were really good.
A little left-hander?
He was
a little
6
guy.
foot.
Yeah, I vaguely remember him.
Yeah, he had a long career, 15 years.
All right, 610-632-0975. That's how you climb into the show. Coming up, chance to win $1,000, and also the news at noon. Will it be Christopher Wusso again? I don't think so. Maybe not today. It's the Mike Missanelli Show back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies win comfortably. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies won their 4th game in a row, beating the Nationals 7-2 last night. Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, and JT Realmuto all homered as Christopher Sanchez put together 5 solid innings, and the bullpen shut down the Nationals for 4 innings. After the game, Rob Thompson mentioned that reinforcements are on the way in the way of Ranger Suarez, who will start on Sunday, make his first start of this season. He also addressed how Christopher Sanchez looked in his start last night.
Looked a little rusty. It's been a week since he's pitched. Command was off a little bit, but the stuff was really good. The changeup looked normal. The slider looked normal. Fastball velocity was good. Yes, I'm pleased.
Phillies look for a sweep today with Taijuan Walker on the mound against Brad Lord for the Nationals. In the NBA playoffs last night, the Lakers were eliminated by the Timberwolves following a 103-96 loss. LeBron James said after the game he is unsure of his NBA future. Elsewhere in the NBA, the Rockets forced Game 6 by knocking off the Warriors 131-116 last night. This update's brought to you by the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag. The Wendy's $5 Big Bag is the best deal in fast food for a lot of reasons, some of which include the JBC 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's. U.S. price and participation may vary. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for truest championship coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Topic that's been burning in my head, and Ray put it on the show sheet today. Where the Eagles stand in the hierarchy of this league for the next 5 years, Ray. Ooh. And Bill. Now, Bill, if I ask you a question, what team would you trade for the Eagles over the next 5 years, sensing high success? In other words, what team could be better than what the Eagles are right now, if any? You know, you might say, nah. No team is better for the next 5 years than the Eagles. Or you could expand your thought process and come up with some teams. So I'll ask you that question, first of all, in a general sense, and then I'll ask you specifically what teams may want to be here instead of there. Okay?
Yeah, I wouldn't trade with any team right now.
Over the next 5 years.
No, definitely not. Because look at the Eagles' defense, how young they are, with all the young talent they have on that side of the football, and then you go to the offensive side of the ball, and you have Jalen Hurts, who is still relatively young, who has proven to be a winner in this league. Right there alone, you could stop and say, well, who else are you trading that has that much young talent and a proven starting quarterback? Then they got all those other weapons, too. And you got Howie Roseman as your general manager. So you know he's going to do what needs to be done to keep replenishing the talent, the contracts. He'll be able to take care of those. I would not trade any organization right now for the Philadelphia.
Okay, let me go over a couple. Commanders.
They would be up there. I wouldn't do it, but that is a similar situation where you have a young quarterback. Adam Peters is doing a really good job as their general manager. As much as we hate that Josh Harris owns them, he's already proven to be a good owner for them.
So you're saying you're casting your lot with the Eagles over the Commanders?
I would take the Eagles over
the
them.
Next 5 years.
But I wouldn't hate. If I'm a Commanders fan, I'm happy with the direction of the franchise.
Even though the Eagles' offensive line at the edges is getting a little older, the wide receiver is getting a little older.
It is. Well, how old's Jordan Mailata now? He's only 28.
Oh, really?
So I agree with you. Lane is who you got to worry about.
Okay.
But Juergens is young. Dickerson's young.
Okay.
Mailata's young.
All right, it's fair. Commanders, no. Bills.
I'm going to go with no because I like Josh Allen. I do. But I'm just not sure that Sean McDermott is ever going to get them over the hump.
Okay. How about Ravens?
Well, the Ravens are always a good organization. They're well run. John Harbaugh.
Why are you
answering
me in generalities here?
Well, I'm still not.
It's a yes or no question.
There's no franchise that I would trade right now for the Eagles.
Okay, how about the Broncos?
No, definitely not.
No?
No.
Broncos are a coming squad.
They're a coming squad.
Next 5 years now we're talking.
Most important position
Broncos
in
win
all
the
of
Super
sports.
Bowl in the next 3 years. We're going to revisit this conversation when I'm kicking it in the Caribbean.
Oh, is that where you're moving to, the Caribbean now?
No, it's a movie.
We're going to come? We'll come visit?
That was a Marcellus Wallace line.
Oh, from Pulp Fiction?
Pulp Fiction.
I missed it.
That was Butch the boxer.
Ray still hasn't watched that, even though we told him.
I know. I think you're gonna find we one smiling blah 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 when you kick in the Caribbean. Anyway.
No, but I don't.
One more.
I wouldn't take that.
One more. Packers.
No, definitely not.
No. Ray. He says Packers. No, that's your boy.
It is my boy.
Uh-huh.
But come on.
Come on. Ray, I just gave him 5 franchises. Would you trade any of those for the Eagles for the next 5 years on who could be better?
The 5 are the Commanders, Bills,
Ravens, Broncos, Packers.
Yeah, that's not one of the 5.
Not one of the 5. But you would trade.
Yeah, is there one, Ray? You sound like there is one.
Apparently is one.
Yeah.
What is it?
If you could build around the most talented quarterback I've ever watched, I would trade positions there.
Are you talking about Kansas City?
Yeah.
Kansas City you would trade.
The team that they just dominated.
You don't think they're getting long in the tooth over the next 5 years?
Well, you guys just mentioned. I believe Howie Roseman's going to do what it takes to lead them back. That team's been able to replenish and continue. Oh, this team's going to fall off without Tyreek Hill. What'd they do? They went and won on the Super Bowl. They're in the Super Bowl every season. They've got the best quarterback I've ever seen.
Here's the problem, though. Andy Reid doesn't have 5 years left in him.
Okay. Well, Broncos were on that list, and Sean Payton probably doesn't have 5 years left in him.
Sure he does.
But I wouldn't take the Broncos. You're saying you would take the Chiefs. You're going to have to hope that they find the next good head coach. And granted, they're going to have Patrick Mahomes, which would help. But Brett Veach is their GM, doing a great job. But he also has the help of Andy Reid, who we know is a great personnel guy as well.
We shall continue this discussion. And right now, you're listening to 97.5, The Fanatic, the Mike Missanelli Show on WPEN, WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. Ray, kick the music!
The Fanatic signing bonus.
Yeah, it's time to give away, hopefully, $1,000 to a lucky listener. The contest keyword for 12 noon is receipt. RECEIPT. This is a very difficult word to spell, people. Receipt.
I before E, except after C.
That's right. RECEIPT. That's how you spell it. You have 25 minutes after the hour to enter it on the Fanatic app or 975thefanatic.com, or you can text it to the special contest short code. That's 45911. One random entry wins $1,000 in this company-wide contest, and each winner gets a call from Beasley. She'll be sure to answer your phone. Contest rules on the website, 975thefanatic.com. The Fanatic signing bonus is sponsored by Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia, voted best casino in PA by Casino Player Magazine. You have 5 chances to win each weekday, 8 and 10 a.m., 12 noon, and 3 and 5 p.m. Good luck. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And yes, it's Raymond Dunn with 3 interesting tales to tell us about today. Ray, let's start with maybe my favorite head coach in the NBA.
Really?
Nah.
I didn't think so.
I hate the little bugger, but go ahead.
All right, let's start with J.J. Redick. He's planning his vacation today, but yesterday he had a chance before the game to address the media, and he was, of course, asked about the fact, hey, you went an entire second half without subbing anyone out. Why would you do that? Is there an assistant coach you talk to about that? Is there someone you lean on? J.J. Redick, of course, was insulted because it sounded like his basketball acumen was being just questioned by someone who doesn't understand the game at the level that he does. Here he is, walking out of his pregame availability when asked about it.
What do you recall about your thought process in the moment, sticking with the 5 you stuck with in the fourth quarter the other day? And is there an assistant or someone maybe that you'll lean on tonight, maybe to try to get some other guys involved if that opportunity presents itself?
Are you saying that because I'm inexperienced and that was an inexperienced decision that I made? You think I don't talk to my assistants about substitutions every single timeout?
No, I just think there's a lot of coaches lean on their assistants in those situations.
As do I, every single time. That's a weird assumption.
And he's out? That was it?
He's out.
He's out.
That was the sound of him walking out.
Big Mike dropped it.
Wow.
He's such a smug. He really is. He knows everything about the game, and nobody else can even compare to how much he knows about ball.
A lot of people happy today that the Lakers were eliminated.
They failed. Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, Bron, Luca, JJ, the old man, and the 4 losses.
Is there anyone happier, though, than Ray's buddy Nico in Dallas? I don't think so.
Oh, man. He's got a reprieve. He's fat, he's lazy, and he likes to drink too much beer.
I was going to ask you guys if you guys could check the trash can in there in that studio to see if Andrew had popped a bottle of champagne this morning for J.J. Redick going out.
Oh yeah. Is Andrew a J.J. hater as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Hates him.
Yeah. Is there anybody that loves him? Like, is there anyone that
Duke
looks
fans,
at J.J.
probably.
and says, man, I love the way that guy talks to us?
It's a good question. His podcast was popular, so I don't know. He was always too smug for me, man. Even as a Sixer, he was smug.
Real ball knowers love him. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, like when he was doing the color commentary, it was way too much trying to prove how smart he was. And then even when he was in Philly, he lived in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Well, I have to thank the listener that sent that one over because that was a listener requested clip, and I want to
nice job.
Want to make sure that they get their props there.
Fantastic.
Moving on here, let's go to Jason Worth. Jason Worth made some waves earlier this week saying that he doesn't respect anyone who lives in New York and chooses to root for the Mets because you have a better option across the street. He went on Foul Territory TV, and they asked him about that question. Here he is.
The quote you had about New York Mets, I have no respect for people who pick the Mets.
Well, I mean, was I wrong? I had to endure the NL East and listening to Mets fans for 10 years. And I say one little comment, and, I'm kind of playing around, joking like it's funny. It might be half truth or tongue-in-cheek or whatever, but take a joke. I mean, I know that they kind of are a joke, but, take a joke.
Ooh.
You are a joke.
Does he have any horses in the Belmont this year?
I have to imagine it's Derby weekend, I think, this weekend.
Yeah, it is.
So I imagine this is part of a media tour surrounding His horse racing.
Do you have a horse? Do you have a horse in it this year?
Hold on, I'm looking.
I don't know.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
So wait,
he finds a horse in the Kentucky Derby for the second year in a row. He's the co-owner of the Flying Mohawk.
Flying Mohawk might be in the Belmont. That horse might not be greeted so warmly in the Belmont. They might try to sneak some hot peppers in this feed, Bill. You know what I'm saying? All right, what else you got?
All right, last one for you. Mike, you might not care about what's going on with Bill Belichick, but your buddy does.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley, concerned about his friend on the Dan Patrick Show.
I'm not sure what's going on. You know, he's been a great friend for me for a long time. We've been friends since he coached for the Browns. I think he got to be very careful right now. This is starting to be on a very slippery slope. He's the greatest football coach ever. Yeah, from what I'm hearing, it's starting to be a very slippery slope. And I never talk about people's personal relationship. That's another rule I got. But I will admit, I'm a little concerned with some of the stuff that's going on. And I might actually reach out to him and make sure everything's good. But I am concerned from what I'm hearing because, it's not a good look right now. I'll admit that.
I don't like to get into people's personal relationships, and this is a slippery slope. But I'm going to call him because this girl's messing up his life. Like, come on, Chuck. Come on. What is that about? Sound like he's getting involved?
I don't know, man, but the stories just keep on.
All right,
coming.
give me another story because you're saturated with this. You love this Bill Belichick story with this lady.
Yeah, so there was more. So apparently, within months of her meeting Bill Belichick, her real estate portfolio is worth $8 million. So within months, she went from nothing.
What does that
to
mean?
$8 million
what does that
in
mean,
real
her
estate.
real estate portfolio. She owned a couple of houses that went up in value because she was dating Bill Belichick. What's that mean?
No. She purchased real estate.
She purchased real estate.
So apparently,
what, through how? What's Bill have to do with that?
So it says here, Hudson, 24, bought 3 multifamily homes across the Boston area in December of 2023 for about $7.5 million, inking millions of deals in mortgage agreements within days, documents reviewed by Realtor.com show.
Uh-huh.
Just months earlier, she dropped another $610,000 for a scenic cottage in the Cape Cod town of Harwich.
What are you suggesting here? That Bill lent her the money?
I don't know. It says those hefty purchases came only 18 months after she began dating Bill Belichick.
So what's your point?
She's making some scatole off of this arrangement.
Okay, so he's lending her money because he's wealthy. Who cares? If he wants to lend her money as his girlfriend, why do you have a beef with it?
Oh, and there's more. The couple reportedly met in February of 2021. Around that time, she began showing up to her cheerleading practices in a $75,000 Porsche. Ray, you need the opposite of this.
I was about to say.
You need a sugar mama.
There's a sugar mama out there that wants to help me get some real estate. I'm in.
She hooked the guy in the twilight of his life. He's got a little tizzle in there in his loins, and then he's riding it. I don't get it, you. I don't understand it. Why are you concerned with all this?
I'm just reporting the facts, Mike. No opinions on this end. No judgments on this end.
Of course you're judging him. 74-year-old guy's entitled to get a little tizzle in his loins. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Connor Thomas.
It's crazy. It's so
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you.
Who is he? You would be wrong, but that's okay.
That sounds like a DNA thing.
Keep the main thing the main thing. That's the funny thing that makes me chuckle.
I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
I'm embarrassed.
I would say no.
Emotional intelligence.
It's funny to me, too.
Love it.
It's a dumbass question.
Dog mentality. Typically, when you play to the standard, you win.
Bill, you were right all along. Lunchtime, baby. Sorry.
Oh, we got Gators, don't we?
Gator tomato pie. Look at this.
That is a solid tomato pie, Gators.
Where did you find it?
It's in the boardroom.
I scour the earth as I'm looking for coffee, which I can't find.
In the boardroom right now, Gators has a layout for us of Strombolis.
I know I've worked here a little
pie.
bit. Where's the boardroom?
I think that's just the big conference room, if I'm not mistaken.
No. You go in.
To the left.
Middle. You go to the left.
Yeah, it's the big conference room where we did that presentation before with the whiteboard.
Yeah.
That's the boardroom, I believe.
That's
All right,
so
we'll
funny.
go next
Us doing
break,
a presentation.
Huh?
The idea of us doing a presentation is funny to me.
We killed it, dude. You and I, we were like stepbrothers presenting. Remember when they would interview together? That would be you and me.
I don't know.
No coffee, but I had to go Diet Coke.
It looks like a Coors Light. That's an interesting can.
Summit Diet Cola.
Oh, it's
Bobo.
It's a generic brand, I think.
It is.
All tastes the same. What do you think?
The Bobo can of coffee.
Doesn't that look like it looks like a Coors Light, but it's not.
No. It's a silver bullet, but it's Coke.
That is an excellent tomato pie, though.
It really is.
So I ran into Brian while I was walking the hallways before the last segment. And immediately I knew that it meant the Gators was here, which is why I spent this last commercial break trying to find where it was.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you got pizza, you get Stromboli. Where are you going with first? I go pizza every single time.
Wait, pizza, tomato pie, or Stromboli, or are you declaring tomato pie as pizza?
Both. Pizza, tomato pie, Stromboli.
If it's a good tomato pie, I'm going tomato pie.
Second.
Here, quickly, I would go Stromboli.
Over pizza.
Here I would. Because the pizza, I don't know how long it's been sitting there. It's been in the box. It's probably not that hot. See, like, I could go tomato pie cold. I can't go pizza cold. I need it fresh. I need it hot.
Yeah, I got you.
What kind of Stromboli? Oh, they probably got the cheesesteak Stromboli.
Yeah, they got them all in there.
Ray, we're going to go there at the break.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Mike can handle it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's go.
Go ahead, fellas. Knock yourself out. I got nothing to talk about. No. Let's talk about Nick Sirianni for a second.
There was another article about him today.
There was another article about Nick Sirianni. And that people are so reluctant to put their arms around Sirianni. But I want to take it like inward. Like nationally, maybe people don't put their arms around Sirianni. I don't get the impression, even in this town, even after a Super Bowl, that they put their arms around him. Dougie P, they wrapped their arms around Dougie P.
We did.
They did.
I mean, look, they gave him a statue. But see, here's the interesting thing. Ray sent us that article. And it talked about how not only are fans reluctant to put their arms around Sirianni, they love the assistant coaches. Like, we have Vic Fangio on a pedestal, as we should. People love Jeff Stoutland, as we should. But it's also, they don't give the head coach credit. It's like all the assistants. But we did kind of do this to Doug P. After Doug won the Super Bowl, yes, all-time high. Then they struggle a little bit. And what'd you hear? It was Frank Reich. It was John DiFilippo. Neither one of those guys did anything after that.
Exactly.
So we're doing the same thing when it comes to Nick. Oh, well, it was Kellen Moore.
It was Fangio.
It was Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
It was Fangio.
Listen, it wasn't Kellen Moore. It wasn't. It was Fangio. There's no question it was Fangio. The Eagles won the Super Bowl because of Vic Fangio. You agree with that?
I agree that the defense was as good as they were, which contributed to them winning the Super Bowl because of Vic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving Nick credit for the defense. But when you look at the offense and you look at the team as a whole.
A simplistic formula that utilized the strength of their offensive line and a great running back. Let's face it.
And you got to give the coach credit for that. You do.
You do?
First of all.
What's so sophisticated about that you would laud the coach?
The fact that they were ready to play every single week, outside of the one game down in Tampa where they were missing half their damn team. That's on the head coach.
But do you get the sense that this fan base still pulls away a little bit?
Definitely.
Pulls away from the guy. And to me, if I'm him, I go, my God, what else can I do? What do I do? I have to win another Super Bowl?
Well, interestingly, you said this today. There's a fan account on Twitter. I think it's a fan account called Eagles Nation. And their question today is, Nick Sirianni is the blank greatest head coach in Eagles history, and there's 3 options, 1, 2, or 3. And it's up to a couple thousand votes already. And I'm thinking, no one's going to give Nick the credit. 60% of the voters have him as the number 1 coach in franchise history. 34% have him as the second best coach.
Well, who else could it be? I mean, what do you know? We have this laundry list of guys that could be.
Andy Reid.
That doesn't mean that you like Andy Reid. Didn't win anything.
No, I'm saying people would probably say, if you're not going to give it to Nick, you're going to go Andy. I think there's some people who would say Dick Vermeil.
Yeah. You got to go with the guy who won the Super Bowl. But that doesn't mean that they still embrace him. It's a weird thing. 610-632-0975. If you got something to say about that, we'd love to get to the text board and your phone calls. The phone system, as I promised, the new phone system is not up yet. I know I promised it yesterday. I was told that it would be up. More technical difficulties, so it won't be up, and we have no idea when it'll be up. But our temporary system has been yielding some phone calls today, Bill. So don't be afraid to punch in those numbers. 610-632-0975. And we're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies win comfortably. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. The Phillies won their 4th game in a row last night, beating the Nationals 7-2. Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, JT Realmuto all homered as Christopher Sanchez put together 5 solid innings. The bullpen shut down the Nationals for 4 innings. After the game, Rob Thompson mentioned that reinforcements are on the way in the way of Ranger Suarez, who will make his first start of the season on Sunday. He also addressed how Christopher Sanchez looked in his start last night.
Looked a little rusty. It's been a week since he's pitched. Command was off a little bit, but the stuff was really good. The changeup looked normal. The slider looked normal. Fastball velocity was good. Yes, I'm pleased.
Phillies will look for the sweep tonight with Taijuan Walker on the mound against the Nationals' Brad Lord. In the NBA playoffs last night, the Lakers were eliminated by the Timberwolves following a 103-96 loss. LeBron James, after the game, said that he's unsure of his NBA future. Also in the association last night, the Rockets forced the Game 6 by knocking off the Warriors 131-116. This update's also brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. That feeling of owning your first Mercedes-Benz is hard to believe, but it's real. From leather stitching, the iconic design, every element of Mercedes lives up to its reputation. See for yourself at your local dealer. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for truest championship coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
today. Right? What did text board saying today? And by the way, how's the monitoring of the chat going?
It's going good. Yeah, they've kind of lost their mind, but that's what they do every day. They're now debating tomato pies and.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's get to the text, and then we'll see how they're losing their minds.
We got an unnamed texter here. Coach Nick is embraced, all caps, embraced his culture and way of getting buy-in around core values, toughness, togetherness, allows the coaching and talent to be at its best.
So that's a pro Nick text right there.
Yeah, well, maybe you're right. I just don't sense that the rest of the population is 100% behind the guy. Just don't sense it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it. We brought it up the other day in light of that article that Ray sent us with the halo effect. Mm-hmm. And on the YouTube chat, on the text board, yeah, there are still people who I don't think they respect Sirianni, like the way he carries himself and what he's done for this team. And I still think a lot of it comes down to not only the way 2023 ended, that he doesn't call plays on either side of the ball. Because you always get that, right? Going into last season, well, what does he do? What does he do? What does he do? But I prefer a coach that doesn't call plays. I think it allows you to have your finger on the pulse of everything that's going on in terms of clock management, in terms of game plan and strategy, all of that, as opposed to having to be in the moment calling plays. I know there's coaches like Andy Reid calls plays, and he's had a lot of success. But I don't mind having that CEO type of coach. And I remember last season when I was saying that, there were a lot of people saying, oh, don't you dare compare Nick Sirianni to John Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin or some of these other CEO type guys. Dan Campbell's a CEO guy.
I think it's going to take Nick to almost repeat.
To get accepted?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
He might have to have a tremendous regular season next year.
Well, look, at this point, and I know I get accused of being the family member that defends him all the time, but at this point, if this team succeeds again this year, and I'm defining success as, let's say, another playoff run, okay, you would now have a head coach that had successful seasons with Shane Steichen as offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo as offensive coordinator. I mean, at what point do we look at it and say, you know what? Head coach knows what the hell he's doing. It's a different coordinator every year, but yet still keeps producing. Even the collapse year, I hated the way it ended. Would they win 11 games? Went to the playoffs?
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's really the worst thing we look at is the way that season ended. They still won 11 damn games.
Yeah, but that's not what you look at.
No, I get it.
The 11 games. You look at a man who seemingly did not have his thumb on the pulse of that team. I mean,
there was nothing that stopped it.
When you collapse like that, the head coach has to be blamed.
But there was nothing that was stopping that year. Now, look, see, this is exactly – I have the YouTube chat open. Mm-hmm. I couldn't stay away from it for too long.
I know.
And JM says this about Nick, and this is sarcastic. I prefer a coach that doesn't call plays, doesn't hire coordinators, doesn't draft players, or answer questions directed him at press conferences. That is the way a lot of people still feel about this guy. They don't respect him as a head coach, and I don't understand what else he's got to do. He just won the damn Super Bowl. They just beat one of the greatest coaches of all time.
I think this notion of being a Philly guy is sometimes overblown and childish. But I think he is the example of that. Like, people don't like the little ratty type of stab you in the back behavior or the gloating or the arguing with the fans. They don't like that.
What's the stabbing in the back, though?
Well, yeah, I'm talking about the interaction with the fans. That was the wrong thing I labeled, but him interacting with fans like that is puts the ultimate snark on the man, and that makes him non-acceptable in Philly. You don't fight the Philly fan base back. You never do that because they'll never forget it.
And I don't disagree with you, but I do think in the context that you're talking about, when he jawed back at the fans after the Cleveland Browns game, what we were kind of told it was they were yelling, run the ball. And then when the game ended, he yelled back to them like, I told you we were going to run the ball. Like it was, I don't think it was in your face Tyrese Halliburton and Giannis, or father and Giannis's fan. I think it was Sirianni almost like joking in a way with the fans. Like I didn't look at it as him trying to fight fans. That's not how he is. I don't know. I don't know what else it would take, though. You just saw one of the most dominant performances, not only in Eagles franchise history, but maybe in the NFL. This is one of the best teams we've ever seen. And that's not an overstatement. When you look at the numbers, you look at what this team did, you look at how many straight wins they had following the bye week, what they did in the playoffs against really good teams, how we could not look at the head coach and realize that he's a good head coach. I don't know what else he has to do, Mike.
So much good.
That's one of my favorite drops.
But Ray likes to tweak you.
That's one of my favorite drops.
It's fantastic the way he likes to send him, just subtly tweak you.
Ray should be thanking me.
Hell yeah.
Ray should be thanking me right now.
Why is that?
Because Ray, our YouTube guy Brandon, TJ, our associate producer, they were all hovering outside of the boardroom where the Gators was, and they didn't want to go in because there was a meeting going on. Like, what are you talking about?
Ricky Bottalico's.
Yeah, there's a meeting going on. I said, yeah.
With a couple sponsors.
I said, yeah, but there's Gators.
Ricky's in here telling his life story.
So then I walked in. I said, hey, is it okay if we come in and grab Gators? Yeah. And then they come following in. So Ray should be thanking me because he's eating that delicious food right now because I went in there for him.
There's some Mexican in the other way.
Oh, we are stupid with food today. There's also Wendy's here. We got everything but coffee for Mike.
Everything but coffee. Not one pot of coffee.
I had a nice cup of coffee.
I know you
early
did in the morning. Then since then, either we're out of coffee again or nobody's taken the time. We can't make the coffee.
We don't have time.
We don't have time to sit there and make the coffee. Somebody who is in that studio has to make the coffee. People hear us whine about coffee and they go, "Shut the hell up!" Yeah. Really, they have absolutely no solace at all for us in coffee.
But I do look forward to the cup of coffee during the show.
I do too. I like to sit. It helps me think. It's like a cigar. Like I played terrible in the front nine yesterday, right, at Philly Cricket. I lit up a cigar on 9. Boom.
A 52 on the front, a 50 on the back because of that cigar. Good stuff.
He's very disrespectful, right? Isn't he?
Can I defend myself also for this whole thing?
Defend yourself anytime you want.
Ricky's having a meeting in there.
Ricky's got a meeting, yeah.
We got a sales guy in a suit. What am I supposed to do? Just walk in like I own the place?
No, you do what I did. Hey, excuse me, is it okay if we grab some Gators? There's like 8 boxes of pizza and Strombolis and everything else. There's only 4 of them in there.
I want to do stay in there, hang out, and listen to Ricky tell his life story. He was in the early stages of it.
They did invite us to sit in there and wait.
Well, when I walked in,
TJ to come back here and run the board.
When we walked in to get it, all I heard was, and then when I turned 9.
I was the most valuable player in my Connecticut Little League. Now, I was a catcher then, but they said, you have a good arm, son. Maybe you want to think about being a pitcher. So years later, I would actually be a catcher in the minor league system, and they tried to convert me into a pitcher. And I said, yes.
And I'll never forget, my manager, John Jimson, called me into his office. Poor Ricky.
And he said, Ricky, you got good closer face. You're a bulldog out there.
Ricky Bowe.
610-632-0975. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
ESPN's Adam Schefter.
95 Fanatic. Here's how you get in by text or by phone. 610-632-0975. 12 o'clock hour is brought to you by Service First HVAC. Offering 0% financing for 48 months. Rebates, tax credits up to $4,300 when purchasing a heating and cooling system. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. All right, in a few minutes, I gotta tell this story. You know, there are some things that happen in life where you go, it's not really a crime, but it should be on the books as a crime.
Yes, and if you're talking about what I sent you, yes.
I'm talking, I don't know how many people have seen this. It's kind of disgusting, but I think we can talk about it in the context of people being just completely unaware of how rude and inappropriate they can be.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It's probably technically not a crime.
Technically not a crime. Now, what I would love to get a lawyer whether any statute would be violated here to make it a criminal offense. But we'll talk about that in a second. We have Andy in Lambertville checking in about the Phillies. Andy, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, buddy?
Hey, good afternoon, fellas. How you doing today?
Good, Andy. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. It's a beautiful day. I was glad to hear you got your tomatoes planted this morning, Mike.
Yes. They're all in, baby.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing out here today. I was wondering if you called Bill's father-in-law for any advice.
I did not call Bill's father-in-law. I'm a self-serve type of gardening guy. In fact, it just arrived chicken wire because as I planted I went out and I looked at it, and a bunny paws had been walking across. So I got to get those suckers out of there right away.
Yeah, get yourself a BB gun, sir.
No, I'm not going to shoot rabbits, man.
I'm kidding. And speaking of, no, that would be disrespectful. I'm kidding. Speaking of disrespectful, you know, Bill, you're awfully disrespectful to my family in the YouTube chat today. We're really sad about your decision making this morning.
Listen, I've been trying to check in as much as possible. Ray demanded off air that he become the YouTube chat.
That's
monitor.
a lie. That's a lie.
He said, listen, I want the YouTube chat. He was jealous. He goes, the chatters love you. I don't feel loved enough. I want to take over.
You would be wrong, but that's okay.
So I don't know. I did miss you guys, though. I'm back. I'm in there now looking for it. People are excited. This is Andrew from the MBD. He's all excited that you called in.
Yeah, he's the man. He's the MBD's the MVP of the YouTube chat, no doubt. But Bill, you've been disrespectful to Mike about his golf game. I mean,
totally disrespectful.
I don't know if you know you're sitting next to the Mount Rushmore when you work in.
He doesn't even know
Ray, of course.
Ray, of course, but he doesn't even know that I had a career, Bill. So it's par for the course.
No. Yeah, he doesn't read your book. He doesn't know you had a game show. He's never watched the cooking show.
No idea.
Yo, Andy, I thought we were tight, dude. What are you doing to be here?
No.
What are you doing? You trying to rile him up? He's trying to rile him up.
I might as well have had Saddam Hussein as my co-host, as much as warmth as Bill exudes towards me.
Billy Bailout over there.
Yeah, of course, yes.
No, it's Billy Baseball.
Hey, speaking of baseball, if I told you in the last 11 starts which Phillies hitting .333 with 7 runs scored, 7 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases, Mike, can you name that player?
It's not Rojas. Is it?
Yeah, it is. .333 since he's an everyday player.
Oh, since he's an everyday player?
Get him a jersey. Mike's going to be rocking a jersey.
You keep making him an everyday player and minus 100 from that batting average.
No, all I wanted was 260. Speaking of YouTube, Neil and I have a little sandwich bet. 260 out of the 9-hole. His defense has been suspect, though. I'm not happy about that because I was kind of riding on the fact if he could play Gold Glove level defense and hit 260 in the 9-hole, we're good.
Oh yeah, but he, listen, he's at least he's got his iPad with his great catches that he reviews all the time.
Oh yeah, I keep reviewing him too, man. He could play out there, huh? Hey, you guys have a great time, and Mike, you got to come up to Lambertville. Don't forget.
I'm definitely it's on my list, brother. I'm gonna get up there one day.
For you too, Bill and Ray. And I'll send you guys a little gift card to the bar and restaurant. You guys can come up, Bill. You can give it to your father-in-law as a Father's Day gift or something.
Yeah, maybe I'll bring him up. That'll be nice.
More like it. All right, thanks, Andy. Appreciate it. That's Andy from Lambertville.
Yeah, Andy's a big chatter in our YouTube chat. He came out, you probably remember, he came out to one of our broadcasts at Rally House.
Yes.
Yeah, good dude.
Yeah.
They're really upset with me, though. that I said I was going to turn over the chat to Ray. Oh, no, man.
Well,
I'm just trying to be focused on Mike's opinions.
You're not going to be focused on my opinions anyway.
What?
Whether you're in the chat board or not. But you wanted to give it to Ray because Ray did not really want it. You gave it to him so you could pay more attention. This is like a radio shtick you're doing here, right?
No, Ray came up to me off air and he said, "You remember, the person who controls the microphone controls the world, and I will turn your mic off if you could." He just did it again. He turned it off.
Did you actually say that to him, Ray?
Yeah, that sounds like something I would say. In all that you've known me, I sound like the guy with the power grab.
No, if I'm being completely honest, yesterday I forgot my laptop, okay? Yeah. So because of it, I didn't have the chat open. And I realized that the chat does distract me at times. So I'm trying not to be as focused on the chat. I'm checking it during the commercials, but I'm trying not to be as focused on the YouTube
yesterday,
chat.
I had the chat up. And I saw where people were the pro-Bill, anti-Mike. And I go, wow.
No, they're just on the right
very
side.
Not productive for me to.
On the right side of the argument. They're just usually on the right side of the argument.
I'm just curious. It took till yesterday for you to realize the chat distracts you? That was your grand revelation out of yesterday? We knew that since you started.
See, I guess I shouldn't even use the word distraction because the chat is a major part of the show. We have a very loyal YouTube chat. It's just, it's hard to do both. Now, Ray sits behind the glass in there, and I feel like it's easier for him to monitor the chat. Because Mike will then come to me. See, Mike saw firsthand yesterday, because he'll come to me, hey, what are they saying on the YouTube chat? And then he realized it's hard to just say one thing they're saying on the YouTube chat. Yeah, it's nonstop.
It goes on and on. It scrolls very fast.
Yes.
It does. They get distracted, too. And sometimes, and I don't blame them.
Yeah. All right, let me bring this up.
Chat.
I don't even know how to bring this up, but this is a road rage incident.
Wait, time out.
What?
You got a delicious tomato pie and stromboli. You're going to bring this up while you're eating?
It doesn't faze me.
Oh, God.
So this was Delco, right? This happened in Delco?
I think so. That's what the description says.
Okay. So it was a road rage. It was a woman in the front car and a woman behind. I don't know what led to the road rage, whether the woman behind the first car beeped or I have no idea what happened. However, the woman in the front car was so irritated by what was going on by the woman who was driving the second car in line that she got out of the car. She pulled down her pants. She squatted on the other woman's car hood and defecated.
What?
That is a very fair description of what occurred in this video.
No, yeah, it was a loose bowel type of situation. Disgusting. Now, this woman should be locked the F up.
Yes.
And I say 10-year sentence for this act. Now, in the meantime, the other woman can sue civilly for intentional infliction of emotional distress, something like that. Any one of these civil avenues that she can go down to get some money for that. That woman should be in freaking jail for that.
This was like I saw this and I said this is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen.
I hope someone identifies this woman and her life is ruined. That is a disgusting pig-like thing to do.
Ray, you saw the video, right?
I saw the video circulating. I'll be honest with you, I don't really have the desire to actually watch that video. I can believe what I saw in the tweet, and I'm not going to actually click on the video.
So if you believe what you saw in the tweet, would you recommend a prison sentence for this woman?
Yeah.
No question, right? No questions asked.
Yeah, you got
the legislature should act right away.
Yeah, you have to. Now, I'm seeing underneath the video, because I just pulled it up again, someone's selling T-shirts. The Delco Deucer, leaving her mark on Delco.
See, that's not even funny. It's not even funny. That's
what I'm saying. They're going to try to profit off this now?
That's not even funny.
You're going to try to profit off this?
So disgusting. That woman is so repulsively vile that she should go to frickin' jail.
Well, I mean, if someone's going to make money off it, it's not her.
Nobody.
T-shirts are always a good idea.
Nobody should deserve to make money off of something that heinous.
It is. I am curious, and you said if there's any lawyers out there, because I don't know the answer to this. Is there any sort of criminal action for this? I don't think that there is, right? Well, I guess you can't just do that anywhere.
What, is it an assault?
I guess it could be.
Could it be an assault?
No, I don't think it would be an assault because it's not on her person; it's on her car. But couldn't it be public indecency or something along those lines? Because she did have to pull her pants down to do it.
Fine.
Yeah, but I think that may be
I'm talking jail. This woman, I mean, how would you like to be related to this woman, be a child of this woman, be married to this woman, whatever it is? Somebody that would do something like that. Oh, Jesus. I'm like overwhelmed. 610-632-0975.
If the woman who was driving the other car is listening, maybe she could call in.
I'd love to hear a blow-by-blow description of this situation.
Because the video ends. We have no aftermath. We don't know what happened.
Somebody who's videoing goes, that woman just pooped on her car.
On the line right now.
No, come on.
Coming up, we have someone who lives down the street from this
Is
incident.
that right? All right, we'll get more insight in this particular situation. And I'm advocating jail. 610-632-0975 back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies win comfortably. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies won their fourth game in a row, beating the Nationals 7-2 last night. Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, and JT Realmuto all homered as Christopher Sanchez put together 5 solid innings. And the bullpen shut down the Nationals for 4 innings. After the game, Rob Thompson mentioned that reinforcements are on the way in the way of Ranger Suarez joining the rotation. He's going to make his first start on Sunday. He also addressed how Christopher Sanchez looked in his start last night.
Looked a little rusty. Been a week since he's pitched. Command was off a little bit, but the stuff was really good. The changeup looked normal. The slider looked normal. Fastball velocity was good. Yes, I'm pleased.
Phillies will look for the sweep today with Taijuan Walker on the mound against the Nationals of Brad Lord. In the NBA playoffs last night, the Lakers were eliminated by the Timberwolves following a 103-96 loss. LeBron James after the game said he's unsure of his NBA future. Elsewhere in the association, the Rockets forced the Game 6 against the Warriors by knocking them off 131-116. This update is brought to you by the PGA Tour's Truist Championship. The Truist Championship is coming to the Philadelphia Cricket Club's Wissahickon and Coors May 7th through 11th. Tickets are on sale now at TruistChampionship.com. That's TruistChampionship.com. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for Truist Championship coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Just to tag this story here. After this woman does it, she pulls up her disgusting drawers over her stank crevice and gets back in her car.
Nasty, man.
That is so nasty. Now, we've consulted with some people out there. It's a disorderly conduct charge at best. Sometimes if it's considered egregious, you could face jail time. This woman won't face anything.
Yeah, it looks like disorderly conduct.
It's a misdemeanor.
Yeah, nothing that's probably going to get her in jail.
All right, we got a guy who lives down the street from this area. Is that right?
That's what I've been told.
All right. Let's go to Mark in Ridley Park. Mark, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Mark, shed some light on this.
Oh, my God. Mike, Bill, good afternoon. Right?
Good afternoon.
So, happened, the lady's car, an elderly woman, unfortunately, was the car that broke down, so she couldn't get out of the lady's way, which prompted some words being discussed and then the action being taken.
Okay, so there was a woman who was disabled. The elderly woman had a disabled car, and the other woman couldn't get by?
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
so she finally got by, and she chose to pull down her pants and poop on the woman's hood.
Correct.
And
white pants, too, just to add to it.
Yeah. Do you know this woman?
I don't. There's been talk on Facebook out there that she has been identified, and her daughter goes to a local high school.
Now, what? Now, how about that? Now, how do you think her daughter is now going to be perceived? What, the mom of the year right there, huh? So she's been identified on Facebook, huh?
She has.
All
She's
right.
been identified, and she also runs she partakes on an online website for images as well. So, Mom of the Year, she's won it already, and we're May 1st.
Oh, my God. Well, listen, Mark, we appreciate your info on that. I mean,
so
it's just incredible. It's just, it's, you know, I don't know what to say. I really don't. This is not even a laughable situation. It's just disgusting how people can act this way.
No, but thankfully, there was someone filming so that this woman can face some sort of discipline.
Have you identified this woman?
No, but I'm seeing that this video is making it round. I mean, it's now on TMZ. I mean, it's making its rounds nationally as well. I'm assuming they're going to be able to. So, Prospect Park Police Chief Dave Madonna told TMZ that his department is fully aware of the incident and they are treating it very seriously, and it's under investigation.
It's under investigation.
That's what they were told. Ah, man, I can't.
It's under investigation. Where are your soiled drawers?
Madonna says his department believes they've identified all parties involved as of Thursday morning, and possible charges including criminal mischief, disorderly conduct, and indecent exposure.
Criminal mischief. Jail time? Criminal mischief?
I would say no. Probably not jail time, but man, I'll tell you though, the public humiliation. I mean, I know she may not care, but her family is going to be humiliated.
Exactly. And when push comes to shove, Mr. Tough Lady or Mrs. Tough Lady, you think her life is going to be peachy now if she's been identified? And nor should it be. What kind of couth? What kind of raising did you have that you would do something like that? Especially if you have a daughter or children or a husband, whoever that may be.
Oh, man.
All right. Listen, I'm sorry to bring the show down like this.
I don't even know what to
I
say.
mean, there are some things that you just got to, these folks have to be identified. They have to be outed. Or otherwise you're never going to correct this kind of behavior. It's just flat out disgusting. It makes Americans look like idiots. It's 1 o'clock. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. It's 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, what would you like to start the 1 o'clock hour with, Bill? The Phillies' big win last night with 4 innings of scoreless ball? The notion that Trey Turner could be moved to center field eventually? The Eagles, what team would you trade for the Eagles over the next 5 years? Who could be better? Commanders, Bills, Ravens, Broncos, Packers, and who was your choice, Ray?
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
He went Chiefs.
Went chalk.
That's a terrible choice.
I'm sorry, I'm not pandering to the audience here, saying, the Eagles are the greatest thing in the
He threw
world.
out the pander. He threw out the pander.
Yes, he did.
The reason it's a terrible choice is because Andy Reid has how many years left, we think? How many more years do you think Andy Reid could be the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs? The guy's 67. I guess technically he could coach another 5 years. Maybe.
No, it sounds unreasonable for him to coach another 5 years.
So
He's never been a coach over 70.
The question is, who would you trade over the next 5 years? That's what it is. So for the next 5 seasons, which franchise would you want?
I would say the Commanders.
No.
Yes. They're getting a new stadium now. They got a franchise quarterback for a long time. They're building a team the right way. They're a team on the come from last year. It's the Commanders, Bill. As much as you don't want to admit it.
Now, listen, I agree with you that the Commanders are an up-and-coming team. Their trajectory is good. They may be a problem over the next 5 years for the Eagles. Mm-hmm. But if I had to pick one or the other, you got to go with the Eagles over the Commanders.
Maybe not. You're talking about the Eagles now with attrition. They've been to the mountaintop. Once you get to the mountaintop, it's harder to stay at the mountaintop. It's now it opens the door for the teams that are climbing up that mountain.
Nah, I'm still taking the Eagles. And Ray, I'm busting your chops a little bit with the Chiefs thing, but there's another factor at play here. I think the NFC, even though it's getting better, and Mike points that out with the Commanders and all that, the Chiefs' road to the Super Bowl is probably a little bit tougher over the next 5 years because you still have Josh Allen, you still have Lamar Jackson.
Right? I know, it just hasn't mattered yet.
No, it hasn't.
And that's why I wouldn't want to be the Bills or the Ravens or the Broncos because I don't want to have to go through the Chiefs. Ultimately, that would be the reason why I wouldn't trade places with them. I wouldn't want to have to deal with Patrick Mahomes in the postseason. That'd be what keeps me from wanting to be them over the next 5 years.
Let me ask you this question though: is Patrick Mahomes on the ascend or the decline?
I think he's still in his prime. I mean, he's only 29. So over the next 5 years, I think Ray would be right. Next 5 years, you're still going to see Mahomes probably. If we had to put money on it, does Mahomes win another Super Bowl in the next 5 years? I would say the answer is yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he wins another one in the next 5 years.
I'm not so sure. He's starting to get to a point where you get banged up a lot, hobbling a lot.
Well, they're going to lose Travis Kelce probably after this season, I would think. This is probably Kelce's last hurrah. But Mahomes, it's like you said earlier, Ray, they lose Tyreek Hill, it didn't matter. They don't miss a beat. So it is close. I would still take the Eagles over them because they just showed that they can dominate them. But also because I think I trust Howie Roseman, and I was going to say I trust Nick Sirianni. Not that I trust Nick Sirianni more than Andy Reid, but I think that Sirianni's got a better chance of being the coach.
You're very bold.
Yeah, has the chance of being the coach for 5 years, whereas Andy Reid is probably maybe 3 more years. But I don't know what he does if he retires, Andy. Maybe he just keeps going. Maybe he coaches till he's 80. Who knows?
I don't know. If I'm picking one team, it's the Commanders. Not that I'm scared of them right now, but I think they're a team really on the incline. And in the next 5 years could be better than what the Eagles are.
I will say to the credit, I'm not going to take the Commanders this one. I thought one of my takeaways from draft weekend was the fact that I watched the Commanders make 2 intelligent picks with their first 2 picks, and I'm not used to feeling like there's some sort of security down there in D.C.
That's the stability of the ownership, Ray. You know it, and I know it.
Yeah. I know.
Stability.
If there's anything that ownership group knows, it's hitting their first-round picks. They've been so good at it in the other sport.
I have to laugh that Bob Myers is collecting money and he's laughing his way to the bank. What is Bob Myers doing for Washington Commanders? He's an advisor.
Yeah,
I'll be an advisor. By the way, I like to hire myself out as an advisor for anything, for any subject. As long as you pay me, I can advise.
But it's hard to argue that the plan they put in place in Washington worked. So Bob Myers, he was a part of it.
Was he?
Wasn't he a part of hiring Adam Peters?
Bob Myers knows about football.
I think it's not just about football. It's how to successfully run a professional sports organization.
Yeah.
So he put the right people in place. I think he was a part of the interviews bringing in Adam Peters and doing all those things.
Yeah.
But look, you look at the Commanders this coming season. I was looking at this today. It's funny you bring it up. We're going to find out the Eagles' schedule May 14th. That's when they're released. But we already know who they're going to play. The Eagles have 11 games against playoff teams from last year. Commanders only have 8.
Yeah.
The Eagles play 7 of those 11 on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Commanders only play 5 of their 8 on the road. So the Commanders have an easier path because they didn't have the first place schedule that the Eagles are going to have. Eagles have a tough schedule. I mean, we'll see how it all plays out in a couple weeks when.
Yeah.
But you look at the teams they got to play. Mike, on the road, the Eagles have the Bucks, the Packers, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Vikings, the Bills, the Giants, and the Cowboys. It's not an easy road schedule.
No, it's not. On the other side, Bill, I'm reading a news story about Trader Joe's, your favorite store.
Love Trader Joe's.
Upper East Side Trader Joe's. Some controversy going on up there.
Oh.
All right. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
We want to hear from you. So text us at 61.
revolting story that we're talking about, that so many people are now responding to it. And one of the most logical things that people are saying is, how could she just do that on call? Like, even a dog, when you're walking, has to sniff around a few bushes before, you measure up.
It's almost as impressive as it is disgusting. I don't know how you could do that on command like that.
Unless she was rushing home.
Maybe that's why she had the road rage.
Do it.
I don't know, man. The whole thing is disgusting.
It really is. All right, I got another situation here. A friend of mine told me. What should be the rule on this? People like to watch their politically oriented TV. You either watch one or watch the other. Or you watch none of them, which I do.
I kind of like jumping back and forth.
Yeah, I don't.
No, just to see what the different spin. Like, if something big happens, I like going back and forth.
I don't watch.
See, all right, this is saying this, this is saying this.
No, I don't watch any of it because I have my own mind on things. But suppose you had a neighbor that had an outdoor TV and constantly has a political show of her choice on, and you just want to chill in your backyard. What should be the rule on an outdoor TV and political commentary? Should there be?
Wait, it's like loud enough that you could hear it in the other yard?
Oh, yeah.
I would not just draw the line at political TV. I think if you're blasting a TV loud enough that people hear it in the other yard, that's
just
a violation.
keep it to political TV for the time being. Like, if I got a news for you, if it's I don't know, if it's Hollywood Squares, maybe I don't.
So I would think it would
I
be
don't
just,
mind it as much.
I think it could be just as annoying if it was loud.
All right, but if your neighbor is not in tune with that political show you're watching, is it rude to be blasting that show?
It's hard for me to separate it because I think it's rude regardless.
Right?
So yes, I would say it's
Can
rude.
you separate it?
Can I separate it?
Yeah.
I mean, I live so close quartered in the city.
You hear everything.
That, yeah, if I did have a backyard.
It doesn't bother you.
Yeah. It's not.
The idea of having a backyard is to have a little peaceful backyard. You sit back there. Maybe you like sitting back there, have a cigar.
I mean, if you live in like suburban neighborhood where like you got the big backyards and the whole thing, that's ridiculous. You should not be able to hear what they're doing at the neighborhood next.
That's all I'm asking.
Is this you or your friends dealing with this?
It's my friend.
Oh, it's his friend.
It's my friend.
Hypothetical, man?
Yeah,
it's
hypothetical.
My
man.
friend dealing with it. All right, we have anything on the text board today, right now?
Yeah, we do.
What's humming on the text board?
Going back to the Sirianni conversation, we had an unnamed texter here that wanted to jump in on what people might hold against him and saying the talent of the roster might be something people hold against Nick. It's tough to think of a coach who's had more talent to work with, so his job is viewed as easier to perform than past coaches.
What do you think of that?
There's a lot of coaches who have had talented teams that don't have the level of success that you've seen from Sirianni. That's why I think the people who hold the talent against him, I think it's kind of ridiculous because there's a reason why some of the things that he's done, coaches haven't done. Like his winning percentage, going to the playoffs 4 straight years, going to 2 Super Bowls in a 3-year span. Like this is more than just talent. Yeah, you need the talent. That's where it starts. But how many coaches have had success without talent? You could just start at the quarterback position.
There's always the overachieving coach. Like, I don't know, Tom Coughlin comes to mind.
But you're right. That was probably an overachieving season. Like, I don't think Eli Manning was the greatest of quarterbacks, but he did do it twice.
Exactly.
But really, you look, it starts at the quarterback. You have to have a quarterback that's good enough to win you a Super Bowl, no matter how good of a coach you are. Even Andy Reid couldn't survive bad quarterback play. Bill Belichick couldn't survive it. Sean Payton couldn't survive it. So it all does start with the quarterback, and the Eagles clearly have a Super Bowl-worthy QB, and that helps. But I don't think it should be held against him that he has talent because there's more to it than that.
All right. What else we got, Ray?
We got some people chiming in on Bill defending Nick Sirianni, which, honestly, I say this as someone that's been critical of Bill consistently on this show. I think at this point, we can all kind of retire the getting upset at Bill defending Nick.
Yeah.
The dude did win a Super Bowl.
He
but
did.
I'm going to read these texts anyway.
Bill had the last laugh.
I think I've been relatively
you had the last
calm
laugh
today on my
There's
defense.
nothing like the last laugh. You had it.
Cue the violins while Bill describes Honey Nick. It always gets so emotional. D from Downingtown.
Wait, that's not where D. Lynham lives, is it?
No.
Is that D coming at me?
Wait, there was one more here where someone was, we need a poll. Who does Bill defend more, Sirianni or the Flyers organization?
Oh.
We did. It's funny. I asked for Flyer people today. And did we get any on the text about?
I got an Instagram message.
You got an Instagram message?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you did. All right. Now, this was a story about the Flyers hiring another ex-Flyer hero to be their coach. And whether they want that, because I read this reaction from the Philadelphia Inquirer, which said, yeah, he was my favorite player, and I'd be over the moon to have Rick Tocchet be a new Flyers head coach. He was my favorite as a player. My ex-wife and I named our dog Tocchet. Who got custody of Tocchet, you think?
Oh, he said ex-wife.
His ex-wife.
Interesting.
He's
Yeah,
a
that's
proven
always
NHL
tough.
coach, and I hope he's interested in the Flyers job.
When
Alan H.
When,
Alan H. is a Flyer fan like y'all.
When married couples get divorced and they have a pet, can you get a shared custody arrangement? I assume you
You
can.
get with 2 legs you rip off. And
No, it's not like, what is that?
Yeah, you can get a shared arrangement. Yeah, I guess you can.
What was that, Sophie's Choice? Is that what that
You
was?
can get a shared.
Or was it King Solomon that was going to cut the baby in half? What was it?
Yeah, one of those.
One of those.
Stories.
Anyway, here's the Instagram I got at Bill Colarulo. Mike's infuriating when he talks Flyers.
Yeah,
he's so anti-Flyer, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The Jones and Briere slander is mind-blowing. It's like he doesn't understand how a rebuild works. What could they have done differently?
Yeah, I know. It's always me. It's never the fact that they haven't won a Stanley Cup in 50 years and had an archaic view of how to build a team under Bobby Clark for years. And when they had a golden era with the best player in hockey, they mucked it up. They messed it up. Let's go back to that Lindros situation, okay? You got a once-in-a-lifetime player. He comes with a little baggage. You know what the baggage is? His parents like to hang around and control his life. So when you draft a guy like that, do you not understand, much like when you bring Terrell Owens to your team, that there are going to have to be some waters that are going to be a little rocky, and you got to ignore them, and you got to guide the raft over the rocky waters. Now, instead, what did they do? They blanched at the indignity of a parent being involved with his kid, and they messed up the whole situation. Am I right or am I wrong?
I agree with you on that, and they didn't. They didn't understand concussions.
So it's always me. It's always me. It's never the way the Flyers operate because you people are all in tow.
But here's why I have an issue with you, and I think this Instagram messenger does too. This current regime wasn't there during the Lindros era. This current regime wasn't there during the Hextall era, during the Chuck Fletcher era. This is a brand new regime. They named Keith Jones 2 years ago. They named Danny Briere 2 years ago. And what they have done in 2 years has been a lot of good.
This current regime was selected much based on their popularity with a fan base. Both of those guys were popular with a fan base. What management experience did either of them have, except Briere, a part-time minor league general manager?
Are they doing a good job?
I don't know. You tell me. Are they doing a good? Did they make the playoffs?
It's not about that.
Oh, it's not.
In the 2 years they've been here, things are a lot better than they were.
Really? According to you, a Stepford fan, things are better because you can't see the forest through the trees.
Oh, man.
610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies win comfortably. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. It's brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. The Phillies won their 4th game in a row, beating the Nationals 7-2 last night. Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, and JT Realmuto all homered as Christopher Sanchez put together 5 solid innings, and the bullpen shut down the Nationals for 4 innings. After the game, Rob Thompson mentioned that reinforcements are on the way in the way of Ranger Suarez, who will get his first start of the season on Sunday. He also addressed how Christopher Sanchez looked in his start.
Looked a little rusty. It's been a week since he's pitched. Command was off a little bit, but the stuff was really good. The changeup looked normal. The slider looked normal. Fastball velocity was good. Yes, I'm pleased.
Phillies look for a sweep today with Taijuan Walker on the mound against the Nationals' Brad Lord. In NBA playoffs last night, the Lakers were eliminated by the Timberwolves in a 103-96 loss. LeBron James, after the game, said he's unsure of his NBA future. And elsewhere in the association last night, the Rockets forced a Game 6, knocking off the Warriors 131-116. This update's also brought to you by Macy's Backstage. What we find at Macy's Backstage about fun Mother's Day gifts, get low prices every day on unique finds before they're gone. Find a location near you at Macy'sBackstage.com. Off price, on trend, arriving daily. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for truest championship coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
flying in. Flyer fans coming. I love the Flyer fans when they come after me. But they can't say I'm wrong. It's really interesting to me how they couldn't tolerate the fact that Eric Lindros' parents were hands-on. It's stunning to me. And because they didn't tolerate it, what happened? The Eagles, when they didn't tolerate T.O., what happened? He wound up blowing up the team. Harper, the Phillies, they tolerate his pandering. Randall Cunningham, remember? They tolerated his weirdness. AI, they tolerated his nightlife because they knew they were going to get the best out of him.
Yeah, but let me ask you a serious question.
Go ahead.
Do you really think that it's fair to use as an example the Eric Lindros situation, which ended literally 25 years ago?
Well,
how many people with the Flyers organization were even here 25 years ago?
An example of how they have operated all these years. They still haven't. What have they done since then? Like, have things gotten better since then? They still haven't won anything.
I don't disagree with that part of it, but what I'm saying is
the bottom line, isn't it?
But to look at two guys who have literally been here for 2 years and try to make the argument that because of what happened 25 years ago.
I don't know what's going to happen with Keith Jones and Danny Briere. All I can tell you is one of the things that were in their favor is because they had a Flyer brand and they were popular. Their brand was popular with the fan base. So people are automatically going to accept that and give them the leeway. And that's what I'm saying. They haven't made the playoffs. They should have made the playoffs this year. They haven't done anything that looks like an advancement, except in your fantasy world where you think they've put together a really good young team.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Was John Tortorella a former Flyer?
No.
Was Chuck Fletcher a former Flyer?
No.
All right, so I don't see the argument. Like, they did go outside of that. They tried to hire guys that didn't have anything to do with the Flyers.
What are you going to say?
Didn't necessarily work.
If they hire Rick Tocchet, what are you going to say?
I think hiring Rick Tocchet would not be the best move. I agree with you on that.
Okay.
Because I think there are better candidates available. And see, I'm going to give you credit on this one. If they hire Rick Tocchet, knowing that there are other better candidates, and they're doing it because they think it will excite a fan base again, then I will have problems. If it's just like, let's bring back an old Flyer.
All right. Well, that's fair.
But where I get frustrated with you is Danny Briere.
Get frustrated with me because you are pro-Flyer and I am realistic Flyer.
Dude, I basically, during the Chuck Fletcher era, I was like giving up on this team. It was embarrassing. And I felt like they were just treading water and they were never going to go anywhere. But under Danny Briere and Keith Jones over the last 2 seasons, they've done a lot of things right. And you just look at Matvei Michkov. We both agreed. I got you to agree a couple weeks ago. He's the greatest prospect they've had since Eric Lindros. And they got him here a lot sooner than anyone thought they would.
What was the great genius in that? Of course, any team that drafted him was going to try to get him here. What, the Flyers were the only team able to do that? What are you talking about?
Yes.
Everybody would have worked hard to get him to play for their franchise.
Everybody would have.
Yeah,
but
what's so special about what the Flyers
Because
did?
the reason that teams passed on him in the draft was because everyone thought that they weren't going to be able to get him.
It was an astute draft pick. But anybody who took him was going to try to do the same thing that the Flyers did. It's why the Eagles took Jalen Carter. They decided that these other teams were wrong. We're going to take him. It was a no-brainer to take Michkov when you're in a situation like the Flyers were in.
All right. Do we not give Howie Roseman credit for getting Jalen Carter?
Yeah, we give him credit. And I'm giving credit for them drafting him and taking a chance. But I'm not going to give him credit because, they speak Russian? They somehow had some clout with Putin to get him over here? Like every team on earth would have tried to get him here.
But they did it. Like, how are you not giving them credit for it?
I'm giving him credit.
They were able to get him here.
I'm giving him credit. You're
sooner than anybody thought they would.
You're stopping at Michkov like Michkov put the team on his back and they went to the playoffs. They didn't.
He was a rookie. He led all rookies in goals. It's a good start. They've surrounded him with young talent. They got to get more.
Cinder block head when it comes to talking about the Flyers. There's nothing that gets in to that skull. Nothing.
Ray, can you help me here?
Ray's sitting there laughing.
Can you help me here? Do we have anybody on the text board that can support this?
Sure, I'll give you some support from the text board. The Flyers finally hire people with a different approach, and Mike still isn't happy.
What's the different approach? They're going to go young. Hextall did the same thing. Hextall said, let's refilter this whole thing and go young. And still Ugats.
Yeah, I will give you that one. Hextall.
Same thing.
When Hextall came in here, with that approach, and they were going to be patient. I was on board, but then he never turned the corner. It was like it was just always going to be, when you turn in the corner, when's it going to happen?
It is amazing to me the different perception that a Fire fan base has as opposed to any other fan base in this city. I've acknowledged it. Hey, God bless you. God bless you. If you see the sunshine better than the other three organizations' fan bases, I salute. That's what I say to you.
Oh, but let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
During Ron Hextall's tenure as general manager, did they have a prospect with as much upside
oh my God, with this
as
Michkov.
Matvei Michkov does?
You have been intoxicated by this Michkov.
Because it's a great addition to a very young
it's
team.
Not something that anybody else wouldn't have done. Okay,
they didn't do
teams
it.
that passed
they
on
can't
them
fell to
are
7th overall.
Okay, so you tell me the team that picked 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th would have taken them?
Maybe they would, but they wouldn't have been able to get him here potentially.
Why not?
They had to work. The Flyers had to work their magic to get him
here.
here.
The Flyers had the magic Russian passport.
They had to convince him to want to come.
It was like the golden ticket.
They
were. It is. Give me the chocolate.
Matvei Michkov and Danny Briere. They're like Willy Wonka and Charlie Bucket, baby.
You're insane. What else you got on the text board?
Jason in Westchester, the Flyers were always perpetually mediocre. Therefore, they could never be bad enough to get a good player, nor good enough to win anything. Hopefully, this recent tank is the beginning of something good.
Hopefully it is. And I'm rooting for Danny Briere and Keith Jones. But if you don't think that they get leeway because they were ex-Flyers, you're crazy. You're crazy. You have your head in the sand.
All right, we got a Rick Tockett text in here. Yeah. He isn't the most sought-after coaching candidate, not named Mike Sullivan because he's an ex-Flyer. He wasn't just offered a highly lucrative extension in Vancouver because he's an ex-Flyer. It's because he's a highly regarded coach league-wide. Also, this current regime is building around a Russian and coming into next year with $25 million in cap space. Hardly the same on stuff here.
Okay, yeah. So he's a 500 coach. You're right. He's a highly decorated coach. All right, next.
Next,
yeah. I'm done with that. I'm done with you with that witness.
I'm done with this guy.
I'm done with this guy. Next, Ray.
The Flyers need to hire a young, innovative coach like David Carl who can grow this young team and infuse some new enthusiasm with a different philosophy. I like Tockett when he played here, but hiring him would be a massive mistake.
There we go.
See, I would love David Carl. I just don't know if he's going to want to leave the University of Denver. Like the guy's got a great situation there. Now, maybe if he really has his heart set on coaching in the NHL, but he may not want to leave.
You don't want to recruit, do you? After a while in college, you got to go pound the bushes in Canada to get players to come to the University of Denver.
But he said, this guy, he's only 35, I think, and he said that he's in no rush to coach at the NHL level.
All right, well, maybe he's not in a rush. Maybe you make him an offer you can't refuse. Maybe you waive that golden passport Russian ticket that the Flyers waived to get Michkov here. They say, look at this. Look, it's gold. What?
Willy Wonka.
The Flyers were 11 points worse in year 2 of Jones and Briere. How can you say they're doing a great job?
That's
right.
Bill. Bill will tell you. Bill will explain. Go ahead, Bill.
First of all, what they did 2 years ago, they overperformed. And I gave Tortorella a lot of credit for the way they started 2 seasons ago. And then they hit the wall, and they had that another type of epic collapse where they missed out. I think they went like 9 straight without a point, whatever the hell it was. But you got to look at the Flyers as more than just the standings. They didn't come into this season with expectations to win a Stanley Cup. I thought there was a chance that maybe they could have made the playoffs, but I think I was being naive coming off of them overperforming in 2023. But when you look at where they are right now, outside of the standings, like that texter earlier said, they have cap space, they have young talent. They were able to make trades at the deadline this year to pick up more draft picks. They got a lot of draft capital. That's why they're in a better position. You can't look at this Flyers organization under Briere and Jones and simply judge them by how many points they had the last 2 seasons. That's not what it is about. Now, if next year they take a step back and the year after they take a step back, I'll be with Mike. But let's see how they handle this offseason with all this capital and all this cap space and where this franchise is headed. And I think it's headed in the right direction.
Did you buy your Flyers tickets when they hired Jones and Briere?
They hired Jones and Briere, and then I went to. I'm trying to think. I went to games a couple years, 2 seasons ago when they were in that playoff push, and I was excited that the energy was back in the building. And I said to my wife, I said, it feels like the energy's back. I want to be a part of it again because I had given up my season tickets. That's how upset I was. And I got them again. So I mean, it had nothing to do with Briere and Jones as much as it did with the feel and the building felt good.
It was the feel.
It was the feel.
Okay,
it was the vibes. It
was the feel, right? The feel.
Hold on. By the way, all this
it had nothing to do with Jones or Briere. It was the building feel.
All this Willy
Smelled
Wonka.
better.
All this Willy Wonka talk. Did you ever see the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with or Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder?
No.
Ray, did you ever see that movie?
Is it not the normal one?
Not the one with Johnny Depp. I'm talking about the one with Gene Wilder back in the day.
That's the original.
The original? I probably saw the original and not the Johnny Depp one, if I had to guess.
The original was fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I saw the original one.
Yeah, fantastic
not the
movie.
Johnny Depp one.
Fun fact. Sorry, I digress. It's the ADD coming in. Do you know the actor who played Charlie Bucket never acted again after that movie? He did that movie, did a phenomenal job as Charlie Bucket. Never acted again.
It was his bucket.
I think he's like a veterinarian now or something.
His bucket list. That was it.
It's a great movie, man.
610-632-0975. On the other side, as we come down the home stretch, LeBron teasing retirement. He won't retire, by the way. But when he retires, will we appreciate him more or less? And what players you wish you appreciated more while they were playing? I got my little list. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Thursday, May 1st. The Phillies beat the Nationals 7-2 yesterday behind Kyle.
I'm on the last season of White Lotus.
People are raving about Mobland.
I'll switch over to it. I'll get it as soon as I finish season 3.
As soon as the season is complete, you'll watch Mobland because you can't go from Sunday to Sunday.
I do hate having to wait, but I may do it just because you've been building it up so much.
Everybody is building it up. On the golf course yesterday, they were talking about Mobland.
I hate having to wait, but
hate having to wait.
I want instant gratification.
You've got 5 episodes right now. Watch 3 of them, wait for another one, then you watch 3 more, and then you got 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, and by the time I finish White Lotus, see, what's killing me is
I can't believe
Phillies
you're
every
watching White
night,
Lotus over Mobland.
I watched the first 2 seasons. I told you I loved season 2.
You can always put White Lotus on hold. Mobland is active. It's current.
I'm putting Mobland on hold. Here's the other problem. I don't know how you find time to watch this stuff because I love that we have a Phillies game almost every single night. So I watch the Phillies, and then I'm tired after that.
Because you watch it on Sunday night when it's on. That's what I do. How do I have time to watch it? Oh, it's Sunday night. Remember in the old days? Oh, Sunday night, there's something on. Here it is. 9 o'clock on Sunday night is Mobland.
But that used to be The Sopranos, right? That was a Sunday night. Because I remember going to school on Monday and talking
Did you watch it every week?
I did, but back then it was different, Mike. You had to.
Different.
You didn't even have on demand back then.
Oh, my God.
You had pay-per-view.
I have a headache every day I work with you.
Yeah, you have a headache.
I have a headache.
Yeah, you're going to have a headache after this.
I have a headache. Anyway.
Between the 2 of us, Ray, you think Mike's the one with the headache? Pick a side. Mommy and Daddy are fighting. Pick a side.
You grossed me out with that comment.
All right. Ray posed something on the show sheet.
Yeah, this is a good question.
In honor of LeBron losing and teasing retirement, the player you wish you appreciated more while they were playing. Well, I can tell you this doesn't apply to me. Now, fans should have appreciated more is the question. I have always appreciated real talent. I don't mess around with under-talented people. I don't venture into the Furkan Korkmazes of the world, right? I go real talent. That dude has real talent. I'm in.
Do you appreciate Tom Brady?
Yes.
So, early in Brady's career, I hated him, like the evil empire and the Patriots. And then after he won probably his, 4th Super Bowl, I started to just respect the hell out of the guy.
Well, there are people that are who hate LeBron. It may take years down the road to appreciate what he is. But I'm talking about locally.
So we're talking about Philadelphia athletes?
Locally. What players do you think that we should have appreciated more?
There's one that jumps right to mind.
Who's that?
Bobby Abreu.
Oh, God.
I don't think we appreciated Abreu.
Oh, my God. He was such an idle statistic guy.
Look, you just said you appreciate
that's
talent.
The guy you appreciated? The guy was a stone loser.
I am talking about a guy that we didn't appreciate. That's the question. You started the segment by saying, I appreciate all talent. But you didn't appreciate Bobby Abreu. You just proved my point.
You appreciate Bobby Abreu for what?
Dude, the guy may be a Hall of Famer.
He's not a Hall of Famer.
You look at his numbers, you could make a case for Bobby Abreu.
Numbers. They're all hollow numbers that never amounted to anything. But I'll counter you with Jimmy Rollins being the most underappreciated player we've ever had.
You see, now I can't get on board because I always appreciated it, J-Roll. I know Ray did because that was his favorite
not you.
team.
Fans in general did not appreciate Jimmy Rollins. Nor did they appreciate Ryan Howard.
I don't know. Maybe in the beginning, but after they won that World Series in 2008, everybody loved those guys.
Kidding me? They couldn't stand Ryan Howard. In 2011, when he blew out his Achilles tendon, you think his Q rating was high? Oh, they never appreciated Ryan Howard. It was always boos when he would strike out on sliders.
See, I didn't feel that as much as you felt.
I don't feel that.
I felt like Howard, Utley, Rollins, they were all loved.
Utley was all loved. Jimmy Rollins wasn't all loved. They bitched him on by him not running out ground balls. They didn't appreciate Jimmy Rollins. He's got Hall of Fame numbers. Do you hear people in Philadelphia trumpeting the Jimmy Rollins cause for Hall of Fame? No. You don't.
I've heard it. I mean, more people probably trumpet Utley, even though J-Roll is probably more deserving. I don't know, man. See, Ray, you were young then, so you loved those guys.
Yeah.
But I felt like once they started going on their playoff runs,
my God, Bill,
people loved those guys.
I wish I could talk to the fan base collectively and just assemble 1 million people right now and say, "Did you do you agree that Jimmy Rollins was underappreciated?" Yeah. You get 90% approval. Did you live in this climate? Wait, did you live here actually, or where were you when this was going on?
Somebody on the YouTube chat just says Jimmy Rollins maybe was the most overrated player among fans.
There you go. That makes my point exactly. You're going to call Jimmy Rollins overrated. Now, you're telling me he wasn't underappreciated? He's got Hall of Fame numbers. This idiot on the chat says he was the most overrated player.
Other person just agreed with that person's comment.
Now think, all right, there you go.
That maybe they are proving your point.
Completely made my point.
So maybe they are.
Jimmy Rollins is the most underappreciated. Here's a guy with Hall of Fame numbers. He's got a better fielding percentage than Ozzie frickin' Smith, and he was overrated.
So the person's defending themselves, saying that every person on every radio station says that Jimmy Rollins should be a Hall of Famer. Every single person. So he's saying that they're not. No one is underappreciating him because everyone's saying he should.
I am talking about the fan base in general. Underappreciated Jimmy Rollins and Ryan Howard to a severe level. Severe level. And you give me Bobby Abreu? My God, you couldn't get 5% approval on you endorsing Bobby Abreu. He was one of the biggest hollow statistic accumulators ever.
You're proving my point now. Now you're proving my point. You see, he's underappreciated.
I did underappreciate him because he never won squat, and his work habits were terrible.
Now you're underappreciated. You got any others?
You got any?
Well, someone in the YouTube chat said one that's on the Phillies right now.
Eric Lindros was always underappreciated in this city. You don't tell me that that's the truth because he was poisoned by his own organization. His own bosses poisoned the guy.
Hold on. Kenny B on our YouTube chat. People loved Howard and Rollins. What is Mike talking about? People always hated Abreu.
Were you around when they would boo Jimmy Rollins and Ryan Howard? Were you alive? I mean, my God, where have you people been that Jimmy Rollins, he pops up all the time. Oh, he doesn't run out ground balls. Oh, he's this, he's that.
After
Ryan
08?
Howard, all he does is strike out.
You're saying this happened after 08?
Yes.
I don't remember it. I'm sure there was.
You're oblivious.
I'm sure there was a small contingent of people
who
who
was
did
doing
that.
Sports Talk Radio then?
And I'm sure there was a small
Was it you or was it me?
Yeah, so the one idiot that called your radio station back then that said that they were
Dude,
terrible players.
Did I hear the boos? Like, were my ears
We
open?
boo everybody. We boo everyone. That's what we do.
I can't take it anymore.
Dude, we boo everyone.
I can't take it.
I will agree with you on Lindros. I think Lindros was underappreciated.
Of course you're going to agree with me on the hockey
I will give you
player.
that.
But you're oblivious to the fact that Jimmy Rollins, that guy said 2 people already jumped in to the chat board saying he was the most overrated player. Right? That's the first comment you got on it.
I don't think he was underappreciated. But people are saying in the YouTube chat a guy who's on the Phillies right now is underappreciated. Can you guess who that would be?
Rojas.
No. An actual guy that I do think we underappreciate.
We underappreciate somebody on this team?
Yeah.
JT Real Muto.
He's Mr. Reliable.
He's Mr. Reliable. Who's that? Is he a full-time player or a part-time player?
He's a pitcher.
He's a pitcher? Oh, wow. Of course. It's got to be Wheeler.
No, Aaron Nola. They're saying
Aaron Nola.
He is an underappreciated. Dude, you think about what Nola has given this team over the last few years. The most innings pitched since, 2021, whatever the hell it was.
He hasn't given him anything in the playoffs.
He's performed the playoffs. He's had a bad outing in almost every playoff, but he also had great
Aaron Nola is underappreciated, Ray?
Yes, in this town, 100%.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
1,000%.
Aaron Nola's playoff performances.
He gives as much as he gets.
Are not as bad as we
gives it up as much as he gets. Gives it up. He gives it up. He's successful. He gives it up. He's successful. He's okay. He's not underappreciated.
I'm taking Bobby Abreu and Aaron Nola as more underappreciated than J. Roll.
I swear to God, I got to have a project here. You must not have been alive when people talk the way they talk about Bobby Abreu. You can't possibly have been alive.
Underappreciated. That's what I'm telling you.
Now, I've got one that I agree with.
Who's that?
YouTube chat saying Ray Dunn is the most underappreciated guy. I agree. Thank you, Kevin K.
And did you see what he says? He keeps the peace daily and keeps Billy Baseball in line. Billy Baseball is right, Ray.
I put this on the show sheet just for that comment. That's what this was all about. It was a roundabout way to get a compliment.
The same person who was talking earlier said Cole Hamels is also underappreciated.
I agree.
Yeah.
Cole Hamels. They used to say, Cole Hamels is weak. I remember Larry Bowles like, Cole Hamels is game on. There was a guy we used to play that drop. Cole Hamels is game on. I don't know what these people are talking about.
World Series MVP, right?
Yeah, then he let it go after that. But.
Yeah, but that in of itself
bring
is
it
awesome.
back.
Texter had Cole Hamels. We got a couple of texts on Donovan McNabb.
I agree with that.
Number 5 will always love you.
As we're on to the Eagles, you know who else is extremely underappreciated? Go ahead, Ray. Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Underappreciated.
So much good. I'm the smartest coach in the world.
We all fertilize. Damn right.
That's the funny thing that makes me chuckle.
You think Jalen's underappreciated too?
I don't know. It's just a funny thing that made me chuckle.
Jalen may be a little underappreciated. I mean, I know there were some crazy things circulating social media that this coming season's a prove-it year for Jalen Hurts after he just won the Super Bowl and it's an MVP. I guess that's pretty underappreciative.
Nick Foles, is he underappreciated?
No, we built him up more than anything.
Let's make some noise. Come on.
He's a god in this town, man. Nick Foles, we'll always love Nick, but yeah, we built him up. There are people who still say, up until Jalen won that Super Bowl, people would say Nick was the best quarterback in franchise history.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What else you got?
No, I got anything. I'm done, Bill. Go ahead.
You got any Sixers that are underappreciated?
No, Phil, 1 minute.
I will tell you this. Up until this...
I'm done. I've closed my mouth.
Up until
Mike
this...
is not talking anymore because Bill is not listening.
Up until this season, with the way the Sixers season went, I think a lot of people would have agreed that Joel Embiid was underappreciated. I mean, you are watching one of the most dominant scorers we've ever seen. But yet, we would focus on, rightfully so, the playoff letdown. But, Ray, you would agree. Embiid's been pretty
You just
underappreciated.
launched a grenade
and then,
in the last minute of the show.
Maybe they could take that in the afternoon show as their launching off point.
I think Mike is actually done talking. So
look at him.
Yeah, he's done.
I'll tell you what. Has anyone had an ability to get under Mike's skin as easily as I can?
Well, you wouldn't know because you never
easy.
paid attention to his career before now.
That's why I'm asking.
610-632.
Oh, man, Mike's looking for something over there.
Got to make sure I got the drop still up.
Buries a timely deuce.
Oh, someone did in Delco.
Right on cue. Oh!
Right with the funny.
Every once in a while.
All right, Bill, I'm done talking. So you got like...
I got to go get a haircut.
No. You got 30 seconds.
A haircut?
Go ahead, 30 seconds.
You know what's funny?
Let's see if you're a radio professional.
Ray just said the same thing. My son, I'm driving him to school this morning, and I said, Daddy's going for a haircut. And his response was, but Daddy, I thought haircuts were for people who have a lot of hair. Taking a shot at me, man.
Not wrong.
I need a haircut, though. I still need a cleanup. Just because you got a bald spot doesn't mean you go.
You know, son, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
All right, Bill, go ahead. Close it out.
All right, everybody. Well, we'll keep you updated.
Yeah, but you're late. You're 4 seconds late.
Oh,
Come
go
on,
ahead.
Bill.
Close
it out. No, you close this out.
All right, keep it here for the afternoon show. Appreciate everybody.
Fanatic Sports Update.